Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and hello. Welcome to Pocket Mats 5, aka the final showdown. Tajima's not here today. He is hanging out with family. Shout out to his daughter for a lovely happy birthday. But my name is Mintom. I'm filling in for Tajima. But of course, this wouldn't be a Pocket Mats tournament without the one, the only Pocket Mats himself. Maddie, how are you doing today?
What's going on, man? I'm excited. Another week, another tournament. This one is special though, Midtalk, because it's the last one of the A series. The first year Pokemon Pocket is finally wrapping up, hence the name, the Final Showdown. And yeah, I'm excited to see, who walks away as the final champion of the first year of Pokemon Pocket. It's going to be an exciting tournament today, Midtime. I will say that, Suicune did, dominate, of course, as we kind of could assume. But a lot of really interesting decks made it into our top 64 cut bracket. And round one, we're going to be trying to showcase Javi here, who is playing Gallade, the only Gallade player to make it into top cut. So that's the plan here, but I'm really excited. And yeah, man, thanks for joining.
100%, 100% Gallade having his own uh story arc back when he was released. One of the standout heroes in the Dialga Arceus Rampardos Lucario Palkia 18C arc, Gallade coming out of nowhere. But I'm glad to see that he is still here in the top cut. Javelin NT representing Gallade. Gallade
For the fighting type, you have Gallade, you have Garchomp, you have some of the more aggro, single prize Pokemon, basic Pokemon like Hitmonlee, Hitmontop, all of that stuff. You have Marshadow, you have Lucario, and you have Rampardos, of course. So there's some like good fighting type cards. I just think that fighting type in general has been kind of, missing, just something extraordinary, right? To really make that typing, that archetype, like super metagame. Midtown, what I thought was really funny was with the announcement of B1, they showcased so many new cards, and it just so happened to be that none of them were fighting type for some reason. So I'm hoping that something is coming in the next expansion that's fighting type, because right now there's been absolutely no confirmation of that. And we are waiting, of course, for this first round to get kicked off. Lampbot, our head judge here, is going to be communicating with the players, so we're just waiting for them to start up. But yeah, I would love to see a real big, like, heavy hitting fighting type card. Even just like a support card. Doesn't even have to be an attacker, but something coming in Mega Rising. We'll have to see though. Nothing's been confirmed yet.
But yeah, Dina and the Pokemon Company doing their absolute best to hide a lot of cards that could shake up the meta. They have given us a few inklings as to what to expect. That Mega Absol probably will be making a statement next week once the turning scene gets started after B1. Mega Absol, the ability to look at an opponent's hand and then discard a supporter's card, that will be game changing. Also, I'm excited to see both May and Lycia joining the supporter pool. Those two
Oh,
are going to see a lot of play,
May is
for
crazy.
sure.
May is a crazy supporter card. I think that May might be. This is just my own like headcanon. I think May might be the most influential card that we've had in Pokemon Pocket for a long time. Uh,
Agree.
it's basically like the closest thing to like real evolution Pokemon like search or support that we've really gotten. It doesn't like explicitly state that, but it's basically there to guarantee you to find your evolution Pokemon, which with rare candy and other support cards like Lily, it's going to be extremely valuable.
Absolutely. And Lycia being basically a free Pokeball. You
Yeah,
can draw two Pokemon less than 50 HP at random. So you have the potential to play Pokeball and then Lycia to basically thin out your deck and have all your basics ready to go. I would love to see how Lycia is going to come into play. Of course, people are going to be very, very trepid about going with that strategy, considering Garchomp EX still exists with its linear attack.
right.
I would highly anticipate that Lissy is going to get a lot of play. It's going to enable a lot of evolution
Yes.
Pokemon for sure. But here we go, Mads.
Let's go. Top 64, first match of the day. Getting into it again, Suicune Binka here versus Javi. It's going to be an interesting match. This is not a matchup, Mitum, that I'm very experienced with myself. Of course, we all know Suicune, so you kind of always feel like whatever's going up against Suicune might be the underdog. But how do you think Gallade and Lucario really perform specifically in this matchup? I'd be curious to know. Um,
I have no idea.
me either.
I legitimately don't.
We'll have to
Especially,
see.
and we'll get to see it when Gallade gets hits on the field. But here we go. It's Javi. It's Binka. It's game 1 of round 1, the top 64. Here we go. So, and Binka is going to go with the perfect start here. Suicune on the field, Froakie on the field, Greninja on the field, Broken Space Bellow, and now, for the first time, we get to see a Gallade player respond.
Yeah, you're right. The perfect lineup there. Going first with Suicune in the active really isn't a bad thing, especially when you have Giratina on the bench as well. That is going to be potentially one of the biggest steals in this matchup, considering that Gallade is actually weak to the Psychic type. So Giratina will be able to KO very easily on this Gallade EX eventually. But as we see, our opponent is going to be teleporting with the Ralts. Or I say our opponent, but Javi, he's going to be going into Hitmontop, which is also a very interesting card. 20 to the active, 20 to the bench. I believe this is effectively like Pheromosa, but a fighting type card. Very interesting that Greninja comes out turn 2 the mid-tom. So,
Oh no.
yeah, Binga's just coming out here, guns a-blazing, doing everything that, he needs to do here. This Hitmontop is going to do some valuable damage, but yeah, I mean, this is the perfect storm here for Binka. He's got the exact hand that he wants. However, we do see the rare candy and the Gallade come out, so both players coming out firing. Kind of incredible to see, actually.
Well, the rare candy doesn't come down yet. Javi really have to think about, do we want to just
Mm.
go with power of the Gallade now? I would probably anticipate we're going to see instead the fighting energy going down
Ah,
on the Hitmontop piercing spin and maybe pipping that Giratina for preparation.
yes.
The rare candy does come down, and the Ralts will become a Gallade. And here we go. I was right. Hitmontop is going to piercing spin the Giratina,
Yeah.
and Suicune gets the damage as well.
This is a really great turn. You get the Gallade set up. You get the 20 damage on Suicune and onto Giratina. But the one thing that can happen here is Binka, if he really wants to attack with that Giratina, very likely that he's got one of those 2 Irida in his hand. So if we see the double heal here, as well as setting up the Giratina, that could be a little bit tricky. But Gallade, either way, should be able to deal some pretty significant damage to that Giratina if it ever does come into the active spot. So I think that Binka here, if he does have Irida, is probably sitting in a good spot here if he can full heal up his Pokemon. But if not, he's in a tricky spot. But the thing is, Giratina really is your primary KO option. So if you do choose to attack with Suicune this turn, you're going to be behind. So as we see, he attaches the water energy to Giratina. I would assume, mid-tom, that we
And
didn't
I
see the Irida, but...
And I believe that
Oh,
this is going to be a mistake because Giratina does do the Broken Space Bellow. The Suicune is going to draw a card, but
wow.
Binka does not know what Binka does not know.
Let's
But
go. Let's go, Gallade. He can
but
actually...
now
Oh, it's a
but now
retreat cost of
here
2
now
for
it's
Hitmontop.
retreat cost is 2. That's right.
Oh, no.
Javi can't respond immediately. So
This is tough.
now what do you do? Oh, that's going to be tricky.
Yeah, and the Greninja player, he has his own, like Cyrus is in deck, right? And Giratina is definitely a threat here. So I think realistically, you have to Piercing Pain. He elects not to play the Lily, hoping that his opponent potentially just doesn't have the Cyrus in hand, because that Giratina will just be able to KO the Gallade with weakness here. So definitely a tough scenario, but in fact, he would have been able to do it anyway. So he actually elects for the Irida, forcing that pressure. But in the same vein, what we're going to see here is just more damage off on this Gallade. The Greninja ping plus the Giratina hitting for weakness, you will be hitting 170 on the Gallade. So while Gallade can come in here and do a decent amount of damage, the more I kind of understand this matchup seeing it unfold mid-tom, the more I don't really like it for Gallade. Again, considering that Giratina found its way into the board on the first turn, for Binka definitely makes this a tough matchup. But yeah, it's really difficult, man. Giratina, people often ask me all the time, like, why play Giratina in the deck? And this is really the one example, is that some games when you're going first, Suicune can feel underwhelming, not being able to attack on turn 3, but, just being able to set up a Giratina on the back line while drawing cards and getting Greninja set up on its own is kind of one of the strongest combinations you can have in the entire game. So it's unfortunate. I didn't know Hitmontop Midtom had a retreat cost of 2, which makes me really not love the Pokemon personally, but
That
uh,
definitely changed it. I was looking at this matchup as if Hitmontop was Hitmonlee, and Hitmonlee has a retreat
for
cost
cost
of
yeah,
1. You
right.
would perhaps that may have been a better inclusion to put in on this matchup. But as we are going to see, Gallade is going to go into the active spot. Now, if you are Javli, you do not have a Cyrus option at all. You are going to have to attack Suicune head on, which means you will only be able to do 110 damage. If
Yeah.
you are Javli, what can you do other than stall? Use up the Lily, perhaps. Yes, he is going to use up the Lily, but now the
No Giant
damage
Cape, though.
isn't going to be enough.
Yeah, the
And
Giratina
so
is just gonna KO you this turn. 130 with weakness is 150 with the Greninja ping, so it's really tough. Like, I think this matchup could be really interesting if that Giratina isn't a factor, but as we saw, it was immediately on the board with Greninja. I think that this is just the typical, right? This is why Suicune is considered to be, that tier 0 deck of the format. Decks like a Gallade, like we're seeing here from Javli, like are strong decks, but they typically take a little bit to get set up. And you can't really do that against Suicune because he's just going to draw through all of his deck and he's going to get his full board state set up. And there's really nothing you can do here. In a scenario where maybe this Giratina isn't found so early in the game, I could see this going a little bit differently. But as long as that Giratina comes down, Suicune's in the active, and you get a Greninja on the bench, I just don't know how you could ever really win this matchup. It just seems very, very unlikely for me. So we'll have to see if game 2 is a little bit different, but that Giratina there is basically going to pose a one-hit KO threat at all times to the Gallade. Just not really something you can deal with very easily. And again, no Giant Cape for the Gallade deck, right? We're playing sort of all consistency cards and even one copy of Lily, right? So we're playing one Sabrina, one Cyrus, one Lily. There's just not much space in the deck to play a lot of sort of, and double Pokecom, right? And you have to play 2 rare candy. So there's just not that much space in the deck to play other things like, a Giant Cape or whatnot. So, we'll have to see if game 2 goes any different mid-tom. It's definitely unfortunate to see both players got off actually to a really strong start. It's just that in this particular matchup, I think that a strong Suicune Giratina start's probably better than a, a strong Gallade start.
let's see if game 2 is gonna go differently. Binka now up 1-0. Javli with the back against the wall, and we are going to see the Hitmontop lead. This didn't work last time, but we are going. But let's see if Binka gets the correct start. It will be the same song, second verse.
Oh, no.
Giratina does drop.
Every game.
Now do we have the trifecta? No, but Giratina will do the broken space bellow, and I would presume now. Ooh, but this is interesting. The Hitmontop start instead of the Ralt start means we can piercing spin the Giratina right away, and that's what happens. Hitmontop will do the piercing spin, doing recoil damage to both Suicune and Giratina.
Yep. In a world where maybe Binka never really gets the Greninja online, it's a different, set of situations, right? I think that you're kind of okay with this game as long as, that Greninja doesn't come out. We do see that he can get Gallade set up kind of immediately. He could Pokecom something away here, potentially try to find the Riolu to go into the Lucario later on to boost that damage with Gallade. But as we've seen before, even with the Lucario boost, 2 energies on a Suicune is only 130 damage, which is a little bit awkward. So as long as we don't see an Irida here, we will be able to KO the Suicune. But the thing with Suicune is that you're drawing double cards and you got double Irida in your deck. It's just so likely that you find it, right? So this Suicune will be KOing the Hitmontop next turn. And if he Iridas this turn, then Gallade just won't be able to take the KO, even with the Lucario, which he's going to be able to get out. So I think it's going to come down to whether or not he's got Irida, but Suicune always does because it's just drawing so many cards. There's just so many uphill battles, I think, for Gallade in this matchup. You're hoping for no Giratina, you're hoping for no Greninja, you're hoping for no Irida, you're hoping for no Giant Cape. A lot of things that can come down. And as we see, the Irida is going to completely, fully heal up both of these Pokemon. It's basically the exact counter to Hitmontop, which is unfortunate. But he does elect to Broken Space Bellow, which is interesting, right? So he's going to take the damage here, mid-tom.
He had to, because you have to put the water energy on the Giratina in order to Irida in the first place. So Suicune could not attack at all, and Sabrina is the play here for Javli.
I like it.
What is Binka going to do? Binka's going to put up the other Suicune that has no energy. Lucario does come down,
This
so
is
that's
40
going
to
to
the
be
active.
40 damage
Yeah.
to the active. And he's going to load up
Ooh.
the Lucario as well. Why the hell not?
I like
Piercing
it.
spin
I like that a lot.
on the Giratina. Woo!
Yeah, that's a great turn. I like that, actually. I like the facet that you could actually just force your opponent to be proactive in getting KOs, right? Because without any Greninja, you can force your opponent into like a one prize before you go into Gallade. So it's actually a nice little line here. In the Sabrina here, the Froakie does come down. The Sabrina last turn means that you're safe this turn as well, which is really nice. So we get a couple attacks off. The boost to Hitmontop into the active with Lucario, and then after Hitmontop goes down, we can potentially just go into Lucario to take it a KO here if need be. And a lot of cards in the hand though of Binka, so we can kind of assume. Oh, the Cyrus though. The Cyrus is actually
but Hitmontop cannot retreat now.
right,
So he's gonna have to wait on it.
but you can bring up the Giratina this turn, which is theoretically speaking pretty valuable. Not that it might not matter. Or you could ping the Froakie here, hope for the non-Greninja next turn, and then Cyrus that up to KO it on the following turn. But he does elect to kind of keep the pressure on the Giratina, which I think is safe. If we see another Irida here, the Suicune will still go down. But either way, there's the Greninja. This Gallade will be getting one at KO'd, unfortunately, by that Giratina now. And this is kind of what I'm talking about, right? Is like, the likelihood of Suicune over 3 or 4 turns not getting this board state up is just extremely low. So we could potentially even see a Cyrus play this turn from Binka, but he's going to elect here.
Here we go.
Yeah, he's going to elect to go into Giratina and probably just take this KO here, which is, that's the
There it is.
that's I mean, you can't do anything. We're not playing any hand disruption right in the deck. So Suicune is just able to just draw cards infinitely and then get every card they want. We even see the giant cape. So no matter what here, I think that Gallade just isn't fast enough. And unfortunately, getting hit for weakness on the Giratina is just a massive deal with Greninja, right? So yeah, it's tough. It's definitely an interesting matchup here. But you got to understand, Suicune doesn't always get Giratina out on turn 1. It just happens that Binka did it twice in a row. So that's what's really unfortunate about all of this, is that you just can't really contend with with a game. You just gotta just take the KO though on the Suicune. So respect there, right? But it's a tough couple games for Javi for sure.
Yeah, Javli only faced 2 Suicune Greninjas while qualifying for top cut, and he did lose to one of them. So
Yeah.
you would anticipate that this is basically par for the course here, and we are going to see Binka take the game and take the round and move on to top 32 here. Javli, an interesting idea, but if we look at the deck list, I think there's a potential here for Gallade to play more of a spoiler role against the Suicune and Greninja. The Hitmontop is very, very interesting. Maybe remove one Sabrina for a Leaf, and that might make this a little bit better or a little bit more consistent. Like, these are some very, very interesting ideas that Javli is bringing to the table. So very, very good run for Javli. Unfortunately it ends in dominating fashion.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's just the perfect storm. It's a great example of why I think a lot of people are just annoyed with this weekend, is because of how dang strong it is. If it gets sort of that board state, and it oftentimes does mid-tom. But as our Lampot, our head judge, sets up our second round here game for us for top 32, we're going to actually move to our in-between segment, which is going to be our sponsored segment. As you guys can see there in the bottom right, the tournament series is sponsored by Box.gg, an incredible platform for you guys that we're going to showcase right now, just for a minute or two as we set up the next round. And I'm actually really excited to showcase this to you guys. So, Box.gg is just an incredible site. Basically, it's a website that allows you to open real life Pokemon cards through a sort of a digital medium, right? Which is really, really cool. So all of the Pokemon Pocket players that love opening up these digital packs, you're able to open digital packs, but for real life cards, and they'll ship them to your house here. There's so many different booster opening options on the website. So the one that we're going to be opening today in between the games is this new Mega Evolution box, which has some of the rarest cards from the Mega Evolution set, the most recent set, to the official Pokemon trading card game. So really, really fun. Shout out to Box GG. They hooked it up with a bunch of gems here, so we can open up some of these packs, some of these boxes. So while we set up the next game, we're gonna roll up. Here and open some boxes. Again, shout out to Box.gg for sponsoring today's tournament. Let's do it. Mega Evolution. Let's see if we can pull any of these like super rares from the Mega Evolution set. Super excited here. Let's see. Let's open one. What do we get? What do we get here? Something crazy would be awesome. And we get a Inteleon full art. Okay, not that bad. Let's open one more. I'm hoping throughout the course of the stream, in Tom, we'll be able to open up something super rare. But last week I was able to open up like a shiny Charizard VMAX, which was super hype. That's a super expensive card, and they're actually shipping it to my house right now. I believe all shipping is domestic. I might be wrong about that. But anyway, go check it out. There is also an affiliate code, Pocket Meds, for some free currency to open up some cards. Really, really fun. Let's open up a couple more here. What I will say is that what's really nice about Box.gg is that you don't have to. Oh, we almost hit the lily there. We almost hit the lily. What's really nice is that you don't have to spend, hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a sealed Pokemon product, which is just so incredibly expensive these days for practically a bunch of bulk. This kind of eliminates the need to do that, which is really nice. So shout out to Box. Couple Executors back to back. We don't hate it. Decent pulls. Again, these are real cards, so I can go ahead and get these shipped to my house just like that. But I'm going to sell this one just because I don't need it. Anyway, that's Box.gg. We'll be opening up some packs in between games from time to time throughout the tournament. But anyway, there it is. There's Box.gg. Shout out to them. Go check them out. Anyway, Mid-Tom, what do we got? What do we got looking at for the next round? Do we know yet? Are we still waiting on some games potentially?
It's like we only have one match ready to go if we want to go into top 32 right away. Actually two now.
Okay.
Binka will be facing Pocket News in top 32. Also, Nabrix, our Pocket Mad's #1 champion, is set and ready to go against Bib Bib. That is a Suicune Greninja versus Guzzlord match. Of course, we did see I just lost it. Binka has to wait now. Looks like we have a judge call that has undone the victory for Pocket News. So it's now Pocket News 1-up against Sassy Pichu. But so far, the only top 32 that's ready to go right now is Nabrix versus Bib Bib. Oh no, nope. Things are going fast right now. As Light XZ, that's a name we've seen before. Light XZ defeating Mr. Demo 94 to advance to the top 32. He's set to face off against Null, who beat M Bones J1444. That will be a Suicune Greninja versus Savali Zero Aura matchup. But there are many top 64 games still going on. So let's see what we got going on here.
All right. So what we'll do here is we'll have Lampbot just sort of snipe a match here. I don't mind watching Lights versus Nola. Savali Zero Aura in this weekend matchup could be pretty interesting. Most matches that we're going to view in the tournament today will include it probably at least once.
I got an update for you. Super Peace and Bestiari are ready to go. Super Peace with a Charizard deck, taking out Late Howler Suicune Greninja. So Super Peace will be taking on Bestiari, who's playing Darkrai, Giratina. Bestiari advancing by taking out Tapu Koko Pikachu. Ashoka from Belgium going down to Bestiari. I think that's going to be the matchup we want to look at next. We'll see.
All right, yeah, we can hop into them. I'll update the stream. Yeah, I like that. I like kind of trying to showcase a Charizard matchup here. There's only one Charizard in day 2. So let's go ahead. Let's hop in there. They might have already started, but it's okay. We can hop in right now. Let's get on over. We'll watch Bestiari versus Super Peace. Let's do it. Let's get in there.
Oh, this will be a fun matchup to take a look at. I'll meet you there, Mads.
All right, sounds good. All right, let's pull this up here. Let's see what we can do. And I will make sure that we can see their screen.
They haven't started yet, so that's gonna be good for us. We get to see the whole thing play out live for you guys. Anybody who's a big fan of Charizard, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Charizard never seems to leave the meta. It's always lurking around. If it's like, I don't remember Charizard ever being top tier since the Genetic Apex days with the famous Hayato Charizard Arcanine setup. But Charizard's been floating around for a long time. long time. More particularly the Stokesart Charizard. That's been going around ever
Mm.
since Rare Candy came out. Like Stokesart has always been a part of the conversation, even though it's never been the conversation. It's always there. Um,
Yeah, Stokesard is kind of the legend. I'm actually a little bit sad that we might see Stokesard potentially fall down a little bit just by the fact that Genetic Apex Charizard might rise up as the new the new Charizard, given the Mega Pokemon coming out, and of course hitting for 200 damage. I'm curious to see how that goes, but for now, I think that Stoke Charizard is uniquely one of the better decks this season into Suicune, which is not something that you would assume being a fire type deck, but he will be going up against Giratina Darkrai, which again on paper is a good matchup for Charizard. So this will be an interesting matchup for sure. I'm excited. You don't actually see a lot of Giratina Darkrai these days. It's kind of been overtaken by by Suicune Greninja, but it looks like we've got this all set up. So I'll transition the screen here, and we should be allowing them to play their match upcoming here. I appreciate all the patience from you guys. It's sort of a one-man show here. I'm running the stream. We do have Lampbot. We have Midtom. Everybody's kind of working together here, but we have to coordinate the people to screen share their games in Discord, and then I got to put all the info up on the screen. There's a lot going on. There really is. So I appreciate the patience. We'll get into our top 32 match right now. I let the players know that they're ready to play. And yeah, man, it's going good. I'm excited here. I'm curious to see once we get into like a top 8 or top 4 mid-tom, how many Suicune Greninjas are really up there, because this is the only Charizard in Top Cut today, but there's a lot of Lightning decks, and as we've seen, those Tapu Koko, Zero Aura Pikachu decks are exceptionally strong into Suicune. So they might be able to knock off those Suicunes pretty early. We'll have to see how the pairings all go, but it looks like we should be ready to rock. I think the players will be starting up soon.
that Bestiari setting up a playlist
Yeah.
to hype himself up.
He is, yeah. Selecting his music. We're not gonna showcase his playlist, but I do enjoy it. It's good to see.
That's funny. That's funny. But let's see. Okay. Super Piece is asking questions. Hang on a second, guys. You know what? Here's what we'll do. While we wait for Super Piece and Bestiari to go, let me go ahead and shout out everybody else that is here today. Rossi Tribbiani defeating Juggernaut 14. The 1 seed does go down to the 64 seed. Rossi Tribbiani now facing Godboy. Okiyame defeats Fiumba 2-0 and Okiyame will be facing Rue, who defeated Dark Sakura V9. That's a top 32 matchup. King Quab BGV 1989 still 1-1 in the top 64 matchup. The winner of that will face HQ 2009, who defeated Dang 128. Schmeckle taking out Tekken Vera. Schmeckle going on to the top 32. He will be facing the winner of Uriel 03 versus iLuchin. Uriel up 1-0 against iLuchin. Kurage taking out CJ from Team Sub-Zero. He will be facing Frozen Outcast, who defeated Frozen out of IMP. Demos 799 versus Tom RRR. That match just finished. Demos defeating Tom RRR. He'll be facing off against Sharias Plays, who defeated Mr. Wiggler. And of course we have many other players playing as well. But it looks like, Matt, we are ready to go. It is Bestiari. It is, I forgot the other name. Oh my goodness. Here we go. My first mistake. It is Super Piece. It is Bestiari. It is top 32. Here we go.
Let's do it. Yeah, so we've got of course, a Giratina lead into a Cleffa lead. So, traditionally speaking, Giratina Darkrai, isn't great into Charizard. But one thing that stands out to me immediately right now, mid-time, is the Giant Cape, right? So this Giratina Darkrai deck is playing Giant Cape. That's not something you always see in Giratina Darkrai deck. So I'll be interested to see how this matchup goes. The Charizard player here is playing one copy of red, but to get over that Giant Cape, you're going to have to, of course, have that red in hand. So 170 HP on the Giratina, even though it does 20 damage to itself, we are playing some healing. So theoretically speaking, we're just Charizard might struggle to take that 1-hit KO with that giant cape. It might be kind of the biggest factor to this particular matchup, which I'll be really interested to see how that kind of pans out this game. But yeah, traditionally Stokezard, the 150 damage, the high HP amount, theoretically speaking, in a traditional sense, is strong into Giratina Darkrai. But you never know, of course. Whenever I say a deck is strong into another deck, that really just means that it wins more than 50% of the time, which means that it can still lose very, very easily. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes for sure. But
Super P's putting down Charmander right now. Cleffa's still on the active spot. Cleffa's going to go ahead and Twinkly call hopefully the Charizard. You'd have to imagine with 6 cards in hand that we need to red card here to delay the Charizard. One thing about this matchup, if Charizard comes down early, it's almost certainly a win for Charizard, and Bestiary does know that because this is a matchup that, despite the fact that it has evolved over time, it's a matchup we know particularly well. Bestiary taking a lot of time right now to really, really think about what the best option is.
Yeah, and he's got the repel though, and the repel is really nice. It allows you to bring up that Charmander for potentially if he doesn't stoke this turn, but even if he does, we can attach to Darkrai, get a little bit of 20 damage off, and that could matter, right, in the long run. And again, we have the giant cape in hand to bring our Giratina up. He's not going to go ahead and attach it this turn, which I think is probably fine on the off chance that actually we're not playing any hand disruption for the Charizard player, so it's kind of safe to just keep all cards in your hand at all times. So you could decide to attach that giant cape or not. Either way is totally fine. But yeah, in the off chance that we don't see a stoke Charizard this turn, at least Charizard goes down to 160 HP, and you give yourself the ability to take the KO. But Giratina, specifically in Giratina Darkrai mid-tom, can attack until turn 3 or turn 4, or turn 4 typically, which is a big deal, right, when you consider the fact that Charizard can attack on turn 3, right? So that's the tricky part here. Giratina is just a little bit slow. We're playing Dark Energies in the deck list, so we'll see how this goes. We do see the research, a lot of cards in the hand for peace. It's pretty likely we see a stoke this turn, but even if we do, we can giant cape up that.
There are more cards in his hand than there are in the deck. How could he not have a Charizard at this spot? We see a Charmeleon. Hello?
I actually don't mind. I don't really mind it. In one hand, you can go Charizard into Charizard, right? The Giratina Darkrai player is playing one Sabrina and one Repel. He's already used the Repel. So, in the event, of course, that, he must not have had Rare Candy or whatnot in his hand. But, this damage from Charmeleon effectively means that, Charizard will just be able to take the KO on kind of whatever this game, which is pretty important. That Giant Cape might get reserved for the Darkrai, which is important. But anyway, the potion will come out on maybe the off chance that, we do draw into like the Pokemon Center lady potentially at some point, which is in the deck list. So yeah, it's an interesting one. He actually likes the Rocky Helmet. It's a little bit interesting. I guess the potion does the potion do anything? I guess he's just playing it to play it because it's not really going to matter elsewhere. And he does end up caping the Darkrai. So yeah, I think that this play here is fine for peace because it doesn't really matter unless Bestiary ends up getting a Sabrina later in the game to go on the KO on the Cleffa. But
are you sure about that, Maddie? Because I am used to seeing Darkrai Giratinas having Sabrinas. I am looking at Bestiary's deck list right now. There is no Sabrina, and I think Super Peace has picked up on this, which is why we're seeing aggression that we don't normally see in a matchup like this. No Sabrina and one Cyrus. This changes everything.
Yeah, I got that mixed up. So it's actually Super Peace that's playing one Repel, one Sabrina, not Bestiary. So Bestiary doesn't have Sabrina, you're right. So realistically speaking, you're going to have to go through this Charmeleon and the Charizard, which is really, really interesting. But, if we don't see the Charizard this turn mid-tom, and we do, okay, we're all good. We're chilling. We're good. We're safe. So we're going to live the attack from Giratina probably, unless we don't see a cape or... and he plays potion too. Oh, man, this is crazy. Okay, so he's safe. He's not. Well, actually, Rocky Helmet means He might get.
No,
Nah, he's good.
but when you stoke, you don't get the damage from the
Yeah.
Rocky Helmet. This
Right,
is
right, right.
this is genius out of Super Piece right now. Taking advantage of the
Oh,
one element that you would expect a Darkrai Giratina to have, but Bestiari lacks. Now what if you are Bestiari? What do you even do in this scenario?
it's tough too because we see the Pokemon Center Lady top deck, right? So if we had caped the Giratina instead of the Darkrai, and we ended up drawing into Pokemon Center Lady, so he could have gone up and stayed above the 150 damage threshold. That is, of course, if Pete doesn't have a red in hand. So it's a little bit awkward. This is why the Charizard matchup into Giratina Darkrai is good. They're playing healing. It's a high HP Pokemon, and they have that threat to always want to KO you. So we can hit here with Giratina, but we can't do the Darkrai damage ping because Giratina only had 3 energies. So realistically, this damage that we're getting off on the Charizard just doesn't really matter to like any degree. Unless, of course, they don't have, their Giant Cape or their Lily in their hand. But it's pretty likely that they do, right? So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. And, of course, like you said, he's already played his Repel, and he's not playing any Sabrinas. He does have another Repel in the deck, but it won't matter. And we see the Rare Candy into the second Charizard, which is effectively the GG button here for this game, Mid-Tom. Because we got to assume he's going to draw into red at some point. Maybe he doesn't, but even if he doesn't, he does play Sabrina as well. So multiple different win conditions here. 4-piece here. This is, I think, a really great illustration of why Charizard likes this matchup for sure.
This game is going to get down to its end game really, really quickly. The anticipation is the first Charizard is going to go down to the Darkrai, but it's going to come down to actually, hang on a second. But Charizard in the back still needs to stoke once again. But
it's all good.
It does.
You can
it does feel even though Charizard. I will say this: Super Piece does feel very, very comfortable in this scenario. But we do see the attack from Darkrai, so it's now all tied up at 2-2. How will Super Piece respond?
Yeah, it's tricky, right? Because again, we have 1 red in the deck, we have 1 Sabrina in the deck. This Charizard is free to just stoke in his face because we have no way to gust around it. And realistically speaking, there is the Sabrina, right? So it's very likely that he's going to have the card for that particular moment. So, this is Charizard dominance. This is what we like to see. This is why we play Charizard uniquely, really strong into most things over a lot of different metagames, other than, of course, maybe those, Oricorio
Oh,
decks.
what a top deck!
Okay.
Oh, what a top deck! Now,
what?
Darkrai guarantee. So,
What?
So here's the thing. You leave, right? You attack. You attack with the Darkrai with the Giant Cape. And now, in the event that Super Piece doesn't have a red, there is still a chance that Bestiari can take the win here. So it's going to come down to this. Does Super Piece have red, or does Super Piece not have red?
This is crazy. So he plays... has he played Repel yet, I wonder? So he plays Sabrina the turn earlier, hoping maybe not to get Marsed, which is really sketchy and he's got the Repel. Okay, so that play did make a little bit of sense. It made a little bit of sense. Because, I don't think you ever play that card, even if, you think your opponent is going to Mars you. I just don't think you do play that unless you also have Repel in your hand. It's still an interesting play to play it regardless, because if you do get Marsed, and you're in a weird spot. But I guess you can't Mars and Leaf in the same turn, right? So, no. I mean, it was probably a fine play regardless, but definitely an interesting one nonetheless.
And just like that, Super Piece is up 1-0. Charizard proving to be a strong contender. Will it be the Stokesard that is our hero in the final moments of the A4B set, the A4A set, I should say. We're going to see. It's game 2. It's Super Piece up 1. It's Bestiari back against the wall. Here we go. Game 2. And it looks like it's Bestiari going first.
Yeah, it's man, it really does feel like an uphill battle, right? The Sabrina and the red are both going to be your win conditions late in the game. Giratina Darkrai is not necessarily a very fast-paced deck. So unless you draw into the Mars, which we do have this game, as we see in the hand, you're pretty likely to just sort of get rolled by the Charizard, because we have no way to guarantee that they don't have the card they have, or the card that they need. And there's multiple cards, right? With Repel, with Sabrina, with Red. Those are all win conditions here. If Giant Cape didn't exist in this Giratina Darkrai deck, then it really wouldn't ever even matter. Charizard would win the vast majority of the time. But again, what we're seeing here, Mid-Tom, is the Giratina come out going first, the Darkrai lead, which is the preferable lead here in this matchup, and we also see Rocky Helmet, Mars, and Giant Cape. So, like, actually a really big deal, and the Charmander leads off here for Peace. So, I think as far as anything could possibly go, this is kind of the best case scenario for the Giratina Darkrai player. We might end up seeing one of those few games where the Giratina Darkrai deck actually has the advantage into Charizard. But anything can happen, of course. We'll have to see. Going second leading Charmander isn't nearly as bad as going first leading Charmander, of course, if you whiff on the Charizard. But we'll have to see. I love the Mars. I love the Giant Cape in hand for the Giratina Darkrai player. But either way, we've seen this matchup so many times before. I mean, is this not one of the most classic matchups in Pokemon Pocket Mid-Tom at this point? Giratina Darkrai versus Charizard. I feel like we've been seeing this matchup for months and months. It's iconic.
Here's the thing, right? That was turn 1. Super Peace is now taking his first turn, but already a minute and 13 seconds has gone by. Bestiari really lost on what to do. It's almost as if he has virtually no game plan. After that loss in game 1, a Super Peace meanwhile showing tremendous confidence. His moves are quick and decisive, retreating the Charmander to Cleffa. We trickly call for a potential Charizard, and now Bestiari has to figure out what to do here. This Charizard deck proving to be super quick.
It's tough. Do you want to play this Mars early and maybe stop him from having, the Pokemon in hand, which he probably just grabbed, right, with the Cleffa? Or do you wait for Mars maybe later in the game to kind of force your opponent not to have that Sabrina / Red / Repel, right, as a possible win condition later in the game? So it's an interesting call here. We do get the damage off on the Cleffa, which does pressure it. So that is one thing that Darkrai can do in the matchup is, pressure the Cleffa to get KO'd. Yeah, I mean, this Darkrai is not attacking for 2 more turns. And, next turn, he's going to Twinkly Call again. So this is sort of the decision of, like, what do I really want to do? You can attach the Giant Cape here pretty safely. We don't have, of course, Charizard isn't playing Mars or playing Guzma in the deck. So, you're safe to just attach here. But, yeah, it's like you have to make that decision.
Really
do Mars now?
About it.
Yeah, do Mars now?
Really
do Mars later?
About it. Like,
you got a Mars now, I think. You do, because
I understand why Bestiari is so trepid about playing the Mars, because
you're gonna want it later.
Mars the Charizard away. The thing is, Cleffa's still gonna Twinkly Call to get a Charizard back anyway. So,
but if he Stokes this turn, you kind of lose, right? So
yes.
And as we see, it's happening. Yeah, so he has it off of the Mars. It's a bit fortunate for Peace. I'm not gonna lie. This is a fortunate thing to get Mars into. But at the end of the day, you're playing an uphill battle regardless. Now, theoretically speaking, we have Red in hand. We have Giratina. So the Rocky Helmet damage plus the Giratina plus Red could have led to a KO scenario, but the Giant Cape is on the Charizard. He's likely going to have some type of healing between the Lily or the Potion in hand, and you're probably just going to end up getting swept here by this Charizard. But if Bestiari doesn't bench anything else, at least this Giratina, at least the Giratina doesn't get one KO'd by the Charizard, so that is the upside. But unfortunately, you can't even get an attack off. You're going to get KO'd by this Charizard before anything can happen. And right now, we're kind of just waiting to see if any healing cards come out. And the Charmeleon does come down as well, so we could go Charizard into Charizard. That is definitely a possibility here. Does he have any healing? If he hits here, he goes into 160.
That's an opening. There's an opening, right?
But he's got the cape. He's got the cape. So he can't get KO'd regardless. That's the tricky part.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part. The cape here is definitely pretty clutch, even without the healing, just out of range here of the Giratina and Red. If this was like a turn later, then, we could hit for 170 potentially with a Darkrai. And there's that Repel that's going to be completely useless. So, yeah, unfortunately speaking, you're going to get slapped here by the Charizard. And if you attack, you go to 150 even with Giant Cape. So you're basically... You're cornered right now, right? There's just nothing you can really do.
If Bestiari opts not to concede here, a potential option would be put the Dark Energy on the Giratina and do not attack.
But
instead do the Broken Space Bella and then hope for a top deck on Darkrai and then play Red to take out the Charizard. But Super Peace. I'm double checking his deck. 2 Lilies and a Potion. He just needs to play 1. But he does leave the opening, so it's gonna come down to a top deck. Do we get the top deck?
It's a Pokeball Minto.
50-50. 50-50. It's a 50-50 redraw.
He gets it. Wait a minute. But okay, wait, it doesn't really matter though because
Oh,
you can't PCL the same turn,
but
right?
we
So
can't sweet yell at the same time. No, yeah.
because so if you
But
red and
now
you KO, then you get KO'd. So he was just like a
mm,
turn behind all of this possibly working, unfortunately. Because that Charmeleon will just KO even if you KO, or you're going to KO yourself regardless. So again. I mean, this is why we love
yeah.
Charizard. You know, it's just kind of perfectly built for this matchup. Um, it's an unfortunate world that we live in. You know, the Giratina
Yeah.
is a strong card. And I think this is what we're seeing right now, Mid-Tom, is likely what we're going to see pretty commonly as we go into the Mega Rising B1 metagame. Because what we're likely going to see is a lot of these Pokemon with high HP that can hit for that 140, 150 damage range, right? Things like Blaziken,
Yeah.
right? So I think that Giratina Darkrai is a deck that is likely going to struggle in a similar sense next season, next metagame, as it is right now into the Charizard matchup specifically. So this might be a little bit of a hint and a little bit of a teaser as to what Charizard really looks like next season, or Giratina Darkrai looks like next season into a variety of different
SDR
matchups.
is
So
choosing to go down,
yeah,
go down fighting. Giratina does attack the Charizard to KO the Charizard, but ultimately KOs itself. And Super Peace is gonna go ahead and move on. Charizard represents
let's
the
go.
top 16.
I would be okay if Charizard won. I'm not gonna lie. I think that again, like you got to look at the metagame of decks in the standings right now for the tournament, and it's like yes, a bunch of Suicune, but then everything else that's in top cut mid Tom is strong into Suicune. So you know, theoretically speaking, it just becomes down to the variance of the matchups and whether or not, you know, those decks hit each other or they just hit other Suicunes throughout the tournament, right? Or if Suicune kind of, you know, plays the mirror matchup and it gets whittled down. So I'll be really interested to see, you know, what the end of this bracket looks like. But that's our top 32 match in the books here. We're going to get ready for top 16. We're going to set up that match here. We're going to see, you know, if Lampbot, if our head judge is in here, which he is, you know, he'll coordinate. He'll try to find a next available top 16 match. But for now, guys, let's hop back over. We're going to go ahead, showcase box.gg one more time. This time,
Yeah,
we're going to
let's pull
actually
some
pull it
more.
up on the screen. We're going to pull it up on the screen this time so you guys can actually see it. This way, you know, you guys actually know what's going on. LOL, my bad for last time. But anyway, shout out to box.gg, the sponsor of today's tournament. A great way to open physical Pokemon cards digitally. Only the rare pulls. You can customize which cards you want to pull basically in these booster packs. Right now, we're opening the Mega Evolution set with all of the rare Mega Evolution cards. This is great because I don't get any bulk and I don't have to, you know, fight with grown adults at Walmart for a box of Pokemon cards. You know what I'm saying, Mid-Tom? So very, very good as well. They've hooked it up with some currency. And let's just do it. Let's just hop right in here. Let's open this Mega Evolution box again. Look at all of these incredible cards that we can get. Super, super cool. Let's open one right here. We'll open a couple before the next match as Lampbot sets up the next round here. And we actually just whiff on that Wally, which is unfortunate, but we do pull yet another Executor. This full art Executor is an incredible card, but it seems to be the card that, you know, just loves me the most. We keep getting it. Let's open a couple more here. We can actually open a lot. We got 23,000 gems. Box.gg absolutely hooked it up. I'm hoping for something rare tonight. We get the Stuffle, you know. The thing is, I'm not upset about any of these cards we're pulling because they're all the rare cards. You know what I mean? I'm not getting bulk, which is always really, really nice. So let's keep it up here. Let's open a couple more. I'm feeling lucky. Shout out to box.gg again, $250. Oh, we just passed. Oh, we get the Venusaur, Mega Venusaur, the secret rare Mega Venusaur. What a pull here. What an absolutely incredible pull. And again, this is the real card. So I have this card in my name. I can literally get this shipped to me right now. I own it. I could actually sell it for more, you know, in-site gems here, for more gems, for more currency. But I'm keeping that Venusaur. That's an incredible card. That's the Jungle Dump. That's Mr. Jungle Dump himself. Shout out to the official TCG, man. They get Megas already. We haven't got Megas yet into the Delibird. I actually love Delibird. One of my favorite Pokemon of all time. One more. Let's just do like maybe one. Well, we'll do a couple more. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not? A couple more here. See what we can get. We get the Ninjask. Almost got another Executor. I'm hyped, dude. I get all these cards shipped to me. I'm super excited. I'm not going to lie. Box.gg, incredible. You guys should go use them. Use the promo code or the affiliate code PocketMads. You get some benefits there. You get some maybe. Oh, yeah, that Shuckle card is incredible. Shout out to Shuckle. One of my favorite cards of all time. All right, let's do a couple more here. We got some gems. Let's just rip a couple more while we get the next round set up. This is more entertaining than nothing on the screen, Mid-Tom. So while we go ahead, open a couple more. While we open a couple more packs, you want to go ahead and talk about maybe what the bracket's looking like right now?
Okay, let's do it. Let's do a bracket rundown. God Boy is in the top 16, taking out Rossi Tribbiani. He will be facing off against the winner of Rue and Okaime, who is that match is currently 1-1. We have two other top 32 matches in play. Nabrix and Bib Bib 1-1. King Quab is taking on HQ 2009. That match is still in game 1, 0-0. Schmeckle has qualified for the top 16. Taking out Yorio 03. He will face the winner of Karage and Frozen Outcast. Karage up 1-0 against Frozen Outcast. RB is still in the top 32 and still waiting for a top 64 winner here between Senor Barriga and Tracky09. That match is the last match in the top 64 that's still yet to be resolved. It is 1-1 there. RB will face off against the winner of Senor Barriga and Tracky09, and the winner of that match will take on Light XZ, who is waiting in the top 16. Light XZ taking out Null 2-0. Brago TCG defeats Abo 2-1 to advance to the top 16. Braga will be facing off against the winner of Regen and Dario 08. That match is in game 3. Super Piece, as we just saw, already qualified in the top 16. Super Piece awaiting the winner of Raoi and Jonelix. It's Jonelix who just takes game 2. Defeats Raoi 2-0, so it's Super Piece versus Jonelix in the top 16. Ghost 319 defeats Score 2-0. Of course, Ghost taking out X Key in top 64. Score taking out Narumi in top 64, but it's Ghost 319 taking out Score in the top 32 to qualify for the top 16. Ghost will be awaiting the winner of Tachi versus Nun 07. That match is in game 3. But Mads, I'm excited because we have a top 16 ready to go. Pocket News has defeated Binka 2-0. Sharias plays has taken out Demos 2-0, and they will be playing against each other, and that match is coming up right now. And Maddie, we are gonna see some lightning on lightning action. It is Savali Zero Aura versus Tapu Koko Oricorio.
Oh yeah, I'm excited, man. Any opportunity for the lightning decks to shine tonight or today, I'm gonna be really, really happy about. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, looks like we're getting Tapu Koko. This is actually just straight up Tapu Koko Choreo. So just like no Pikachu, no Zero or anything versus Savali Zero Aura. So these are two lightning decks, but they're actually two completely different decks, which I actually really do like. I'm pulling up their decks right now. I'm gonna put them up on the screen for you guys to view, and then we'll hop right into it. This is gonna be our first top 16 match, which is really, really exciting. I really, really appreciate it. Let me get everything all set up, and we'll immediately hop into our top 16 match here. Yeah, like I said, I'm really curious to see, what decks really end up at the end of the bracket. Like I said, a lot of Suicune, but a lot of counter Suicune, right? So, really anything can happen. So, let's go ahead. Let's hop into their, who's screen sharing here? Do we know?
Both of them are screen sharing. You take your pick, my dude.
Okay, where are they? Can we see him? Oh, Sharia. Let's hop into
to
Sharias. Let's see what his POV looks like. Is that good?
Sharia? So Tapu Koko Oricorio. Let's do that.
Let's go. Hello, are you with me? Hello?
Okay, let's see. Let me open up the screen here. And
is it working? Looks to be.
I hear music. I hear music. I can't see anything.
I can see something, personally. So.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, try one more time.
Yeah, let me try this. Stop watching and then watch. Nope, I still got the screen of death here.
Really?
I got the screen of death here. Yeah, nope, I got it.
Oh, let's go.
I'm in. I'm in. All right, so here we go. It is the top 16. It is Pocket News. It is Sharia Plays. It is Tapu Koko Oricorio versus Savali Zero Aura no Oricorio.
Wow.
It
the
is
battle of the lightning
on lightning action.
Mid-Tom, we don't actually want this though. We want all the lightning players to match up against Suicune. We don't want them playing each other because one of these is gonna not move on. You know what I mean? We can't be having this. But that's the variance of the brackets. This is why Suicune ends up winning. It's because the Lightning decks end up all beating each other. But yeah, Coco Corio into Silvally Zeraora is interesting. There's a couple of interesting interactions about this particular matchup. Of course, Oricorio not going to be helpful mid-tom at all, right? So that's the one thing right off the bat is that Oricorio is not going to be useful into the Silvally Zeraora matchup. However, Tapu Koko as well is not very, very good into Silvally traditionally, just because it just can't one-hit KO Silvally. You know what I mean? It does add up to 110, but it's a little bit awkward. I think this game could go either way. In fact, right now, what we see is double Corio, or double Tapu Koko. So no Corio on the board. We don't have to worry about that. But definitely going to be an interesting matchup nonetheless. The Zeraora does lead off here, but it's going second. Zeraora is a great Pokemon leading going first, but going second, it feels a bit lackluster, right? Because it just can't attack until your second turn. So you'd rather go first anyway. I'm really curious to see how this game pans out. I'm not going to lie. Just absolutely.
I feel like the Silvally Zeraora will be totally fine going second in this particular matchup because Tapu Koko is going to need to do the Plasma Hurricane anyway, and Tapu Koko definitely needs to go second in this matchup, which is not what we're going to see here.
No. That type null comes down.
Yeah, now Pocket News is going to go ahead and put down the Lightning Energy on the type null. Why not? Because Zeraora is going to get Thunderclap Flash its own Lightning Energy. Sharias is now in a... Ooh, wait, what? Sabrina?
Ooh, the Sabrina!
So we're going to go ahead and target the Silvally early on, and we're going to Giant Cape on the Tapu Koko up front. So we're going to expect to see, yes, a Plasma Hurricane to add another Lightning Energy onto the Tapu Koko. Pocket News, it is your move.
Yeah, I like this play because you can kind of guarantee the KO on the Silvally next turn if he does go into it. And yes, you get KO'd by the Zeraora, but what you're doing is forcing... you're forcing Pocket News to have a second or a third attacking option at some point in this game, which hopefully is a type null or Silvally. But what you're doing now is forcing that option out because the second Tapu Koko is going to be able to handle Zeraora no problem. So that's where we're kind of at. But we see the second type null come down, which is the perfect board state that we want here, right? Having to go through a Zeraora and double Silvally is kind of difficult for a lot of decks. So we actually don't even see the Silvally this turn, though, mid-tom, which means he whiffed on the Silvally off the Gladion, and this could be the detrimental sort of play here. This could be the really unfortunate aspect of this match because your type null gets KO'd and you never get the 100 damage off, and you have the Giant Cape as well. Even the Mars is here ready to hit away, right? So turn 2, no Silvally going second is really, really bad, especially with that type null in the active spot. So a very unfortunate turn of events here, I would say. But I don't know if it's really possible. Theoretically speaking, you're still not getting 1-hit KO'd by the Tapu Koko mid-tom. So if we do go into Silvally, we can go 100, 100, we live a hit, and then Tapu Koko, the second Tapu Koko will be able to finish you off. So truthfully speaking, I don't really know where we go here. You are kind of reliant on having both Silvallis in this matchup, especially staring down double Tapu Koko. So I'll be really interested to see what Pocket News can do from here.
We now know that the Pokeball is that the Pokeball just pulled the Zeraora. That is basically confirmed at this point. Pocket News now really considering what to do because it looks like the Mars has been very effective. No Silvally in his hand. That is what Pocket News is telegraphing to Sharia right now. The Zeraora does come down. Why not? Sharias would already know given the deck makeup and that the type null is in the discard pile. And it looks like Pocket News has no idea what to do. Ultimately settling on a Lightning Energy to the Zeraora. I would anticipate that an attack is going to come down. A Rocky Helmet is going to go down onto the type null, and it looks like we're just going to go ahead and attack. The Lightning Claw does do 50 damage on the Tapu Koko, but now it's Tapu Koko sitting very pretty right now.
I would not be benching that Oricorio if it were me, just personally, because that opens up a win.
I would not be benching that Oricorio either.
But yeah, an interesting matchup here. Again, you're not going to win games playing Silvally Zeraora without Silvally, right? That's just that's the that's the reality of things. Now, Tapu Koko has the advantage being a basic Pokemon. It's a little bit more consistent in that sense. But, Silvali's one of the most, if not really the most consistent Stage 1 Pokemon in the entire game. With Gladion, it's very likely that you do get Silvally. It's just we're seeing kind of that one scenario where that's not really what happens, right? So, he's in a spot now where he can evolve into Silvally if he has it this turn and take the KO. But then where do you go from there, right? Because the second Tapu Koko is going to 2-hit KO you regardless. And is he playing any healing in his deck? He's not. He's just playing Rocky Helmet in red, right? So unless we see the Rocky Helmet attachment and red in his hand, it's just not. You're just not going to be able to win the game here, unfortunately. So maybe, I don't know. I mean, you never know. Like we almost saw Sharias bench the Oricorio, which would have been a detrimental play considering the Sabrina in Pocket News' deck, but. Yeah, I would say very unfortunate, just not getting Silvally out. It's tough to win games if you don't have Silvally. And that Sabrina really ended up being, a key factor in this game, right? Because you get the damage off on that type null. He ends up whiffing Silvally regardless, but you're getting that valuable 2-hit KO damage down on the Silvally, right, with Tapu Koko. So that play early in the game really did kind of determine how things went here. We see him play the red. He probably has to in order to take the KO mid-tom. So it's tough. It's one of those games. These are two very, very fast-paced, aggressive deck lists, and it's going to really come down to whoever gets that early game advantage. This game, it just happened to be Sharias plays.
Well, we're going to see it is tied up 2-2. Tapu Koko up. The second Tapu Koko does go up, but it's only going to be able to do 20 damage. Pokeball, I'm presuming to thin the deck. You definitely don't want to bring the Oricorio up there as a potential Sabrina target.
Yeah.
Red comes down, but it will do nothing except thin the deck for a potential Mars play.
Just playing cards.
X speed as well. So that's basically there in the event that Sharias gets Mars. It's to be able to increase your draw potential in the event that does happen. But Tapu Koko is set up for the jugular here. It is now down to Pocket News to do something, anything, and that is not going to cut it. We know the result. Sharias is going to go up 1-0.
Yeah. And, in this game can go really either way here. It really is just sort of, anything can happen. There's so much room for advantages to be had, right? 0 Oricorio, even, on the board. If you lead Oricorio in this matchup, then that's absolutely detrimental. So, Sharias dodged the Oricorios, didn't have to play them, had the early game Sabrina, Pocket News, whiffs on the Silvallis. Like, there's a lot of things that went in that direction this game, but next game it could be completely different, right? So two matchups here, or two decks here that definitely have a very volatile matchup in terms of, how they interact with each other. I would say that traditionally, too, we didn't see, the Rocky Helmet come down. We have 2 Rocky Helmet in the Silvally deck, so Rocky Helmet plus red does lead into like 1-hit KO scenarios for the type nulls, or into the Tapu Koko. So I would actually say that Pocket News' deck definitely has the advantage here in this matchup. It's just that, sometimes it doesn't go your way, regardless of whether you have an advantageous matchup or not. So we'll go into game 2 here, mid-tom. We'll see here. This might be the third game in a row where we don't see a game 3. The tournament is absolutely going super quickly at this point. But it does here look like Sharias will be going second, which is definitely a big advantage. But again, mid-tom, we see the Tapu Koko lead, which is not very good. He does play 1 X speed in the deck, but leading Tapu Koko.
And that is not the Tapu Koko lead that you want.
No. And the Zeraora lead going
because
first, which is good.
Yeah, Oricorio does absolutely nothing in this particular matchup, considering Silvally Zeraora. There are no EXs in play to prevent anything. But Pocket News is going to go first here, puts down the type null after pulling it off the Gladion. Rocky Helmet going down on the Zeraora, and I'm presuming he's going to end the turn here. Yes, so Thunderclap Flash will give a free lightning energy on Zeraora first turn.
We do have Pokeball double research though. Double Pokeball double research is pretty good.
So double Pokeball is going to actually guarantee that we're going to have at least one Tapu Koko there. So there will be an opportunity for Sharias to pivot.
We want the XP, but the Rocky Helmet though
absolutely need the XP.
Yeah, but the Rocky Helmet comes down though. And we see the Sabrina too for next turn. That could be really important. Yeah, it's really tricky because the Rocky Helmet is in play, right? So red plus Rocky Helmet does KO the Tapu Koko, unfortunately. So, we'll see how this goes. He does have Giant Cape, so I guess that's not really a factor. But unfortunately, even though he's going second, he has to, unfortunately, attach that energy to Oricorio. to retreat because we just don't have a retreat option this turn. So it's an unfortunate scenario. PS did go first though, right? So really what we can do here is actually safely just start attaching to type null, even if we're not attacking with Zero Aura this turn, because the Rocky Helmet damage does kind of add up to be pretty significant. We're not getting KO'd for any time soon. The Sabrina though does kind of scare me, right? It does, because he actually commits the energy to the Zero Aura, playing the aggressive play here. He does play 2 Cyrus in the deck, so the damage off on the Oricorio will be relevant for sure at any point in the game. Not having to go through 2 Tapu Koko is probably a worthwhile venture. But the Guzma as well. So Sabrina, Guzma, Cyrus, and Professor's Research Advantage.
But he doesn't play the Guzma. He plays the Sabrina instead.
You always play the Sabrina.
So therefore...
Yeah.
Yep.
This is correct.
So now we're going to go ahead and retreat, and the Lightning Energy is going to go down into Tapu Koko. The Plasma Hurricane is going to come into play to add another Lightning Energy and do 20 damage to Savali to set up for the Mach Bolt. That's going to be 90 points of damage. And now, how will Pocket News respond? You would have to presume that if you don't heal, the Savali is going to go down. And I am looking at his deck list right now. He doesn't have healing at all.
Or Giant Cape. This one copy of Sabrina in Sharias' deck has absolutely carried this matchup here. It's like literally the one card that would be very advantageous given this particular matchup. And he's had it at 2 incredibly useful times both games, right? So very unfortunate here. He does have the Cyrus though, which, is fairly relevant unless we don't see another basic this turn. There is some room for this to happen because now you're not getting... he top decks the
top deck on the X speed, so the Cyrus is gonna be undone, and Oricorio is gonna retreat to the Tapu Koko. We're gonna see the Lightning Energy get dropped on the Tapu Koko, and we are going to see Savali get Mach bolted out into oblivion.
Absolutely insane,
but
man.
We're gonna see the Kuzma first, because why the heck not?
Why not?
Let's save another supporter for later. The Mach Bolt is going to go ahead and disintegrate the Savali, and Sharias is gonna go up 1-0. But Pocket News is now backed into an awful corner here.
What he needs mid-time is to bench a type null and attach. He might be able to do it this turn. You can get the 50 damage off on the Koko, and then you can go into your Silvally on the next turn. We do see it here. So, I mean, theoretically speaking, he can still win the game because he has an extra Cyrus in the deck. But it's going to be really awkward. The Zero Aura will be getting 1 KO'd. So we can set up the KO on the Koko next turn. The Rocky Helmet that comes down here, not really going to matter that much. But yeah, at least he has the 1 combo here to win the game. But now what we need is a supporter and Silvally on the following turn. And then probably we're going to need, that either the Sabrina or the Cyrus, and I think he's got 1 of each in the deck at this point. So we're gonna see the research come down just to kind of draw through our deck. Nothing else to really play here that's that important. We do see the red and the Pokemon Center Lady. I forgot he plays 1 PCL in the deck. That is going to be relevant potentially, but if he had it this turn, it would have been extremely relevant, right? Of course, but he doesn't. So he's gonna go ahead. I forgot he was playing 1 PCL in the deck as well. I mean, he just seems to kind of be drawing. Sharias is drawing like every card he might need possibly for this matchup, but.
Now Pocket News is definitely going to have an opening here because if we get the Savali and play the supporter, that Tapu Koko is going to go down. And if that's the case, if you're in Sharias' shoes, you are basically co-signed. The Gladion is going to come down, and that is definitely a Savali because we know we took 1 out already. So that is going to be 100 points of damage and 2 points to Pocket News. We are all tied up at 2-2, and now Sharia in the corner because there's only 1 move that Sharia can do, and that is to Plasma Hurricane with the 2nd Tapu Koko. This is going to come down to if Pocket News has the 2nd Cyrus or not. And you know what? That top deck is going to be very, very crucial. You have to Mars here in order to make it harder for the other Cyrus to come out.
Yep, you need it. You effectively, you need I think he's got a Sabrina as well in the deck, unless he's played it already, but you need that. And you also need the Cyrus to win the game. If not, you lose. And that's just what this game comes down to. Going first is a little unfortunate. He's got 2 cards in hand. I don't know how many cards he has in the deck right now, Midtom, but we'll see if he's got the win condition here till we can move on to a game 3. If not, then yeah, you literally just get KO'd here and there's no way around it. So, you are playing 1 Sabrina, double Cyrus in the deck, so you hope that maybe you have them in the scenario. Gladion does thin cards out of the deck. This long pause here, though, from Pocket News makes me feel like he might not have it right now. which
He's
is
taking too long,
yeah,
Maddie. He's taking too
it's
long, Maddie. When a player takes too long like that, that means he didn't get what he has. The professor's research does come down, which means you can't play another supporter. A
no.
Pokeball is going to come down, but that's going to do
Wow,
absolutely nothing.
it's tough.
And that is game
That's a tough.
over.
Wow, incredible that I mean the Tapu Koko really did kind of just have it all. He's actually BMing him now with the rare candy, which I find to be hilarious. So shout out to Sharias. We love to see it. You know, a little BM here in top 16. You know, nothing to it. It's all good. Wow, yeah, the Silvally player, man, just played from behind. I mean, got double Sabrina in both games. Just a really unfortunate two matches here for the Silvally player. But that goes to show in Pokemon Pocket, really anything can happen. A matchup that theoretically on paper you have an advantageous, kind of matchup into. It doesn't always result in you winning all of the time, right? There's just so many things in the deck that kind of makes that happen, and it looks like right now, Midtom, the only top 8 match that is available is going to be Sharias with his new opponent, which is going to be Schmeckle, who is playing Suicune Greninja. So well, we're probably gonna have to stick with Sharias here into top 8, and he'll play his next opponent, which is gonna be Suicune Greninja, which of course might be an interesting one. At this point, I am still cheering for Sharias. Anything to KO or knock out Suicunes out of the tournament, that's gonna be kind of the hope here. But yeah, man, what do you think? What do you think of that game, Mid Tom?
Um, well, all I know is I am looking at this, and it looks like the Sharias, for what it's worth, taking a 2-0 victory on Pocket News. He's the his reward is going to be to face off against Schmeckle's Suicune Greninja deck. Sharias, India represent. And that is the first top 8 matchup that we have available for us. Some matches, their top 16s aren't even done. All top 64 matches are done, but Senor Barriga right now, trying to play catch up. Senor Barriga is facing off against RB top 32. The winner of that will face off against Lights. So Lights hasn't even gotten an opponent yet for top 16, and we already have a top 8 matchup. The imbalance here is stunning.
Yeah, we've been
We
covering.
might have some free matches, Maddies. We might have 2 top 8 matches today. We might.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. I don't mind covering double top 8s. Totally okay with me. The more games, the better. But we want to make sure that we have games available right on the screen for the people, right? So let me pull up their the information here for for Schmeckle. I love the name, by the way. Hilarious. So
Oh,
there we go. And yeah, we can kind of just like get right into it. We're gonna keep Shriya's perspective, and we're gonna see how he deals with this opponent here, Suicune Greninja. Right? I said the Oricorio's not always that useful, but the Tapu Kokos can kind of just sweep through. Suicune Greninja. So if he ends up drawing like he did in the last set, I think that Sharias will have definitely a pretty fine time. But I'll go ahead. We'll let them know that they can go ahead and play their match.
and this is gonna be like one of those. And this time, the Oricorio will find usage, whereas Oricorio had to basically take a whole back seat in the last match against Pocket News. This time around, Oricorio is gonna play a major effect because Suicune is an EX. Giratina is an EX, so Oricorio is going to be very, very poignant here. It's gonna be
mm,
a focal point in Sharias's uh strategy. However, Suicune, Greninja, Giratina players, they're very, very smart. When you
yes.
see an Oricorio as a Suicune player, you get the Greninja online immediately. It becomes your attacker. It switches up your strategy, and that's why this Suicune Greninja deck is so versatile.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I would anticipate that that Schmeckle, if he's gonna come in here as a Suicune Greninja player, he is going to know that that's the strategy for this matchup, as we are searching for opponents right now. Um uh where did I go wrong here? I
What's
just
up?
lost his deck list. I'm looking at his deck list. Looks like it's the tradition. No, is it? He
The Suicune
yeah,
Greninja?
he's missing. Yeah, he's missing something. I'm trying to look at. I'm trying to. He
He's
has
got
two Cyruses and two Iridas. He dropped something in here.
he's got the leaf. So
From
instead of Mars, he's playing red card. But he does still have the
that's what it
leaf
is.
instead of like a inflatable boat, one giant cape. This is a fairly standard, I would say. Suicune Greninja with Giratina really has like the same 18 cards. Whether you want to play like double Cyrus or one Cyrus, that's one thing. I think common decks right now are playing two Cyrus for sure. And I like the leaf in the deck. I really do. Like I played leaf, but some people are cutting the leaf for like, a repel or second giant cape or something like that. So I would say that this isn't too far from the standard at this point, right? We might see some repel, but I don't know. I would say we're in line with what we kind of would typically play, right? With Suicune Greninja, somewhat at least. But it looks like we're getting into it. Top eight, mid Tom.
Let me get this going. It looks like the passcode. We got the loading screen on the bottom right corner. Here we go. It's Sharias plays. It is Schmeckle. It is top eight. It's game one.
Let's go. Yeah, we might hit another top eight after this, just considering how many, how far ahead this game is. So maybe two top eights, and then we'll get into both of our top four matches. But the Tapu Koko lead here is really relevant, and the Giratina lead as well. Though one of the few Pokemon in the deck that can consistently win a KO Tapu Koko. So he is going to be going second with Tapu Koko. I mean, that's kind of the dream scenario, right? We've seen Sharias kind of get these ideal starts back to back to back to back to back. And it might be another one of those games here. Again, I would say that Tapu Koko lead going second, even just a solo Tapu Koko, will be very advantageous just into this matchup in general. Now, I think what this is going to come down to, Mid-Tom, is whether or not he gets those early bird Sabrinas, right? I mean, we saw it twice last match. If we see that Sabrina come out early again, that's going to be relevant. I like the red card in hand. I like the Rocky Helmet. He does elect to bench the second Tapu Koko, and I think that's probably fine, realistically. Now, what's interesting about this Tapu Koko deck is that it's not playing any energy like moving cards, right? So no Elemental Switch, no Dawn, anything like that. No E-Cord, right? So you're kind of just reliant on the energies where they are, which is an interesting strategy whenever you're playing Tapu Koko. It pairs very well with things like Elemental Switch, right? Just because of those extra energies and the retreat cost of one, but yeah, we'll see how this game goes. I'm actually now realizing he's playing double Giant Cape and Rocky Helmet and two PCL. So he's kind of playing an anti-Giratina deck, which I actually really like as well. That kind of just flexes also as, a decent Suicune counterplay. But anything with two Oricorio in at mid-time, in my mind, is not a consistent Suicune counter. I've said this for months now. However, two Tapu Kokos is really all you need in the matchup, so we'll see how it works out for him.
It looks like Giant Cape is going to go down onto the Suicune.
That's a good
I
play.
would anticipate that we're going to see a Broken Space Bellow
Yeah.
on the Giratina, and yes, we do. So now, Sharias, I would anticipate we're going to see a hit for 90 right here. Whether we are going to see anything else,
Could see the red card.
is a matter of question. We do get to see cards
That's
up
right.
footage thanks to the 15-minute delay. So we get to see the decision making firsthand, and red card is going to be the play here, possibly to prevent the Greninja from showing up. And the Giant Cape is going to go down onto the Tapu Koko. So there, and the Rocky Helmet is going to go down onto the other Tapu Koko. Why the heck not?
I like it.
Discourage discourage Schmeckle from doing a repel. Oh, but he takes it back though. He doesn't actually put it down. And elects to not put down the Rocky Helmet quite yet. That might play a factor. That might not. We'll see. But we do see the Mach Bolt for 90 on the Giratina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like this because you're not getting KO'd next turn regardless. And even if he does retreat into the Giratina, that it can always get Cyrus up later in the game. The one thing you have to realize is that Suicune will be doing less and less damage as the game goes on, as you're KOing Pokemon on their board, and as, of course, your Pokemon get KO'd, it's just less damage in general for Suicune to do. So even if he comes into Suicune here, we're really only hitting for 60 with PCL in hand. We're likely living a 2-hit KO from Suicune, which is a really, really big deal. And we can always Cyrus up this Giratina later in the game to take the KO. So at this point, I'm feeling very, very confident in, Sharia's board state here. Again, the double Tapu Koko going second is kind of the best case scenario into the Suicune matchup here. So unless we see a rare candy Greninja, unless we see another basic, the 60 damage here on this Tapu Koko is not going to be very relevant. And especially with the healing from PCL, you're going to go back up to, an HP threshold. That means you're living another turn. And that's just a bunch of free attacks as well. Just a really, really good situation to be in here for Tapu Koko. Yeah, and we're just going to see that Crystal Waltz mid-tom. That 60 damage with Giant Cape with PCL in hand really kind of makes Tapu Koko a bit of a tanky fella right here, right? I mean, come on. 150 HP with PCL. It's tough to KO this thing.
But the PCL is gonna go onto the Tapu Koko
120.
to heal up the Tapu Koko to 120, and Sharias feeling very, very comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Mach Bolt is gonna come down, and weakness is going to come into play. This is why you run lightning against water.
That's right.
110 damage to the Schmeckle, and also even if you Irida, which Schmeckle is going to do, Suicune is still in range to be KO'd by the Tapu Koko. Schmeckle's just gonna go ahead and just do it anyway.
Let's go. Yeah, we love to see it around here, right? We love to see Suicunes getting absolutely dominated. No disrespect to Schmeckle, of course. It's just, whenever Suicune loses mid-tom, we're happy about it these days. You know what I mean? So, for me, Sharias has been absolutely blazing through these matchups. I mean, if he's getting draws like this, if he's getting starts like this throughout the tournament, I don't know who can beat him. I'll be honest with you, because like going second, leading Coco, Giant K, PCL, like it's kind of crazy. This Suicune goes down, and now Schmeckle has literally nothing to attack with on the following turn. He's actually just going to bench all his Pokemon here in like an effort to BM. But in the same vein, I don't really know why not, because you're thinning cards out of your deck and you're possibly, maximizing the odds if you do get Marsed after this turn to draw into a Cyrus, which will be your win condition. Now, theoretically speaking, Schmeckle could have second Irida, and he could pull that Giratina out of range.
I don't agree that I don't agree that was a PM though, because the match still isn't quite secure, right. Even though we know based off the hand that it is secure, because of the fact that now you put in the double Oricorios late, you're free. On Schmeckle's side, the Greninja is energies behind to have to deal with it. So putting the Oricorios as a safety, I think is totally fine. That is absolutely not BMing there. But we do see the X speed. Tapu Koko is going to retreat into the full art Oricorio. The 1-star Oric. Oh, wait, no. Hello. Okay. Wait, Sharias, you dropped the script here. What are we doing here?
I think this is a fine play because Giratina can't KO, so what you're doing here is making sure that you don't get KO'd by a Greninja, but in the same vein, you have Red in hand, and he's down double Irida and Cape, so you can go ahead, Red here, bring the Giratina down to 80 HP, and then no matter what, Cyrus is a win condition, and then you're not getting KO'd by the Greninja next turn. So I like this play. I actually really do. So unless we see, and there's no Repel, by the way. There's no Repel in Schmeckle's deck. So really all he needs here to win the game, or all he could do to win the game, is back-to-back Cyrus plays with Rare Candy Greninja because you bench the Oricorios. But this is a fine play for sure. You're getting cards out of your hand. You're maximizing your odds of... Yeah, he's just going to play the Leaf here, so no Mars play, no Rare Candy Greninja. We had sense. But if you're playing against a bunch of, matchups where, Tapu Koko is going to be your Pokemon, and you just keep drawing Tapu Koko, then that's where you go here. A deck like this is a deck that I've always said this about the Lightning decks, is that they have to play sort of two different decks in one, right? The Oricorio stuff going to be exceptionally useful in some matchups, but really useless in other matchups. Same with Tapu Koko. So depending on the matchup that you're playing up against and then the leadoff that you have, this deck could either be very advantageous or absolutely not advantageous at all. So what we've seen right now is definitely the upside to it playing a deck list like this, and we've yet to really see that kind of punish him on the backside. So we'll have to see if that happens in these upcoming games, but maybe it doesn't. Tournaments are like that. Oftentimes goes to the more fortunate player. It requires skill, the proper deck, but also, just getting a little bit lucky here, and he is going second yet again mid-tom. So in the Tapu Koko lead, he's cruising mid-tom. He can't be stopped. He cannot be stopped. He's getting everything. He's got it. He can't. I mean, what are we gonna say here?
With a terrible start.
Froakie lead going first.
Up front against staring down a Tapu Koko, and Froakie goes first. This is not going to be good for the water type fans out there. Schmeckle
Incredible.
basically doing damage control to try to maneuver around this. No Giratina as of yet, so we see Suicune on the bench. We see Giant Cape on the bench, but Schmeckle had no choice to pass the turns, which means Froakie is going to get hit for 40.
It's tough, man. This damage on the Froakie is important. The only scenario where this damage might not matter is, of course, if you're going to attach to Froakie to retreat and you can Irida in full HP it anyway. But then what do? You're going first, right? So not only are you wasting an energy, but you're like Tapu Koko has such a big advantage. And that's really what this comes down to. And we see the PCL and Giant Cape in hand as well. So we might see just a direct repeat of last game. It's basically the exact same board state here, although now we see double Oricorio in hand instead of that second Tapu Koko. But the thing is, that's actually totally fine because the less Pokemon on your bench, the less damage the Tapu Koko takes with that Giant Cape with the PCL. You're going to be safe regardless, and we're getting 2 attacks off on the Suicune no matter what, right? So we'll see if we see the Irida here in the retreat. We do, but mid-time, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter because realistically, we're going to 1-hit KO or 2-hit KO the Suicune without taking any damage, and we're going to be at an advantageous position nonetheless, right? So
notice that Sharia is not putting down the Oricorios.
No, definitely
like
don't.
not like do not like if a Suicune player knows that if you have an Oricorio, they're going to set up a Greninja response, then do not put down the Oricorios.
No.
Sharias teaching us how to play a lightning deck with Oricorios. Just don't play them first, and just go with your attackers first, and then just beat them down. And then when they're ready to just attack, now put up the Oricorios, and then the Greninja gets the Greninjas are like energies behind. We do see the Mach, and now
Greninja comes out.
might be in trouble here.
The Greninja comes out, which is relevant, but you got to understand that the Giant Cape Tapu Koko, 150 HP is a lot. This Tapu Koko EX is one of the most dangerous Pokemon I think Suicune could ever face down, having 3 energies and having a Giant Cape attached. It's just very, very difficult. You can commit an energy here to the Suicune, but you're still going to have to go through that second Tapu Koko, and I just don't think you're ever going to be in a situation where you're going to be able to 1-hit KO this Tapu Koko. So, like, what do you really do here? Again, I think that this matchup in one aspect isn't that good for Tapu Koko sometimes because, you could lead Oricorio, you could go first. Like, there's so many scenarios that could lead to you not having, an advantageous board state, but what we've seen back-to-back times is the perfect storm for Sharias. I mean, he's got India behind him here. He's playing incredibly well, and he's just dominating. He's dominating these matchups. It's kind of crazy to see, but this is the volatility of Pokemon Pocket, man. It really is. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what goes
now
on.
Sharias is going to be up 2-0 in a dominating position.
He could get Mars.
Look at the energy. Mats, look at the energy state. Sharias has 4 energies. Schmeckle only has 1. What do you even do here?
He does get red carded. I forgot he doesn't play
Red
Mars.
card does come down.
Yeah, he doesn't play Mars, he plays red card, which I'm not as big of a believer in, but you can like Irida and play other cards in the same vein. But the red comes down and we draw into research anyway. So the second Tapu Koko just is the factor here. Like I was saying, with Giant Cape, there's literally just never a world where we can KO this Tapu Koko this turn. It doesn't even matter. Even with double Greninja and a basic, it's just not enough damage. So the Giant Cape, even though we got rid of the PCL, it just doesn't matter. Because we're going to get hit here and then we're going to get hit again for 90. And it's just too much damage. You just can't really heal around it, right? So we'll see. The research does come out here. All of the hand disruption from Schmeckle is gone. He draws into his own red card, which he's definitely going to want to play. That card advantage always feels good. One of the best feelings in Pokemon Pocket in my mind. But if we draw into like a Cyrus here or anything, which we don't actually. So, but
it's gonna matter because you just do a mock bow. Just keep the pressure up. 110 on the Suicune. So now it's like this. You can either attack and then just let your Suicune die, or you're gonna have to retreat to kind of keep the game alive, in which case you're still gonna die. How does Schmeckle even come back here? I can't even see it, my dude.
If he has a double, if he goes second Greninja here, you can retreat, and you can theoretically actually still win the game just by going double Greninja pings and then shuffling through your Pokemon, because Tapu Koko can't kill a Greninja. But if we don't see the double Greninja this turn, I just don't think it's enough damage. So, theoretically speaking, I do think Schmeckle could win. It's just very unlikely. So we'll see exactly what comes down here. The Giratina comes down, so he's going to boost a little bit of damage. but you cannot stay into the Suicune, unfortunately, right? So, yeah, it's one of those things where Sharias right now can kind of just relax. He can sit back, he can do his thing here, and then just wait to draw into his win condition, which will of course be that Cyrus, right? So. We're kind of playing the waiting game. He's got 9 cards in deck, though, so he could get pretty unlucky. The Giant Cape, the second Giant Cape, is pretty relevant here, but no healing. He is going to elect to put down that Giant Cape, and he's going to get the damage off here on the Greninja. But like I said, only one Greninja on the board, so we're not really too stressed about anything. We're just going to start hitting and hitting and hitting, and he's never, ever going to be able to be ahead or get an attack off even, because if he does, he gets KO'd on the back end, right? So that's just what I was saying. If we get like double Greninja down, theoretically, the pings might add up to be enough damage, but I think you kind of needed the second Greninja last turn, I believe. But also, when Suicune's not in the active spot, you're not drawing cards, right? So that's the reality of it. And eventually, you're not gonna have any Pokemon left, and then even a Sabrina you'll lose to, right? So, yeah, I think he's just gonna kind of play out the game here. Maybe we see an Irida, we do, but it's just not gonna matter, unfortunately. So. Yeah, it looks like another dominant performance from Sharias, man. He's moving on to top 4. This Tapu Koko Oricorio deck, if he hits Suicunes for the rest of the tournament, Mid-Tom, he has a pretty good chance of running away with things. We'll have to check and see what other decks are moving on here to potentially top 8 or top 4, but it looks like we'll likely be able to cover another top 8 match after this, so the coverage will remain, and I'm pretty excited about that. And the Greninja elects to just stay in and take the KO, so yeah,
Yeah, it's a formality at this point. We
yeah,
know who the winner is going to be. It's just a matter of does he concede or not? No, Schmeckle is going to go ahead and abandon his frog and
yeah.
let the frog die to the lightning. Tapu Koko with the mock bow to finish off the Greninja, and Sharias is going to be our first quarterfinalist in this tournament.
Congratulations, one
Tapu
step closer.
Koko and Oricorio is going to be represented in the top 4.
Wow. Yeah, man. It's like I said, it's a lot of Suicune in the tournament, but a lot of counter Suicune. I mean, that's really what we're in terms of a metagame right now, Mid-Tom, is what I call a two-face meta. And I've talked about this on the channel a couple of times before. You probably know what I'm talking about. But realistically speaking, what we have seen in like the past, typically before Oricorio came into the metagame, was that the metagame was dominated by like the best deck, and then maybe 1 or 2 decks that was counterplay to the best deck. Ever since Oricorio came into the metagame, it's actually become sort of its own facet where we've had like a 3 or 4 face metagame. But this season, in the fact that Oricorio hasn't really been a dominant counter meta play because of Greninja, kind of makes this feel like a kind of a two-face meta, where really right now you play Suicune or you play counter Suicune, and that's kind of really where we're at. And it's unfortunate, that the top deck of the game counterplays Oricorio like that. But anyway, it doesn't matter if you're playing Oricorio and Tapu Koko and you never have Oricorio in the matchup, right? You're just gonna win because Tapu Koko is probably the number 1 counter, I would say, to Suicune in general. So Sharia, just 4 dominant games in a row, moving on to top 4. We'll see if he can continue that. But as we set up,
Sharia's going to go, and Sharia's going to face off the winner of our next match that's being lined up. So let me go ahead and recap the bracket on the other side really, really quickly. 7 of the top 8 have been decided. Of course, the top 16 match that's still left to be resolved is Senor Barriga versus Lights XC. That is on game 2. The winner of that match will be facing off against Dario 08. A quarterfinal match is in play right now. Super Peace is down to Ghost 319 1-0. That quarterfinal match is in action, but we have a quarterfinal match lined up for you. It will be the Sharias will be playing the winner of our next match. It is Bib Bib, who took out Naprix in HQ 2009, and he's going to be facing off against Godboy, who just took out Okaime. That is a Darkrai Giratina versus a Suicune Greninja.
Nice. Okay. Interesting. We're opening up a couple more Box.GG packs right now. Shout out to Box.GG, the sponsor of the tournament. Before we get into our next match here, I believe our head judge Lampot will be setting up, our next match. Probably another top 8, I would assume, right? At this point, it doesn't really matter.
It's a top 8, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, let's crack open some packs here. I'm opening this retrospective screen box, which has some of those, PSA graded, like whatever, I forget, like what's the painting called? Is it just called Scream? The one like traditionally, is it like a Is that a Van Gogh painting? I kind of forget. Regardless, those cards. We're trying to pull one of those here from this pack. Definitely pretty cool. We're moving off from the Mega Evolution packs here. Shout out to Box.gg. It's an incredible site. Great way to get super rare cards without having to open IRL packs and spending hundreds of dollars on sealed product. Use the promo code in the chat there, the affiliate code PocketMads. I would definitely recommend it here. I actually am going to go back to Mega Evolution just because I'm always about the newer cards. You know what I mean? That's what I'm all about here. Yeah, man, shout out to Box.gg sponsoring the tournaments. Absolutely incredible. They are kind of bolstering, if you really think about it, Mid-Tom, they're kind of bolstering the Pokemon Pocket competitive community right now. Us being the largest active tournament series for Pokemon Pocket, the prize pool is being sponsored by Box.gg. Go ahead and support them if you play Pokemon Pocket, if you compete. They're absolutely doing the utmost for us right now, which we definitely appreciate. Nothing too big in this opening here. Let's open one more before we set up our next top 8 match. But anyway, shout out to Box.gg. Go check them out. And we end off with the Litleo. I love these cards. It's nice, though, because even if we're not pulling any of the big hitters, these are still really rare cards just the chances of you opening any of these cards in a real actual Pokemon pack is super low. So great way to enjoy Pokemon cards digitally while getting IRL cards. Again, this is a digital marketplace and a way to open the packs. However, the cards are real and you can get them shipped to your house, which I will be doing, which I'm super excited about. But anyway, shout out to Box.gg. Let's get into our next matchup here. Do we have it set up yet, Mid-Tom? Do we know? Are we?
We're gonna go ahead and join a match in progress. But Godboy just took game 1 against Bib Bib, but they are being held before they start their game 2. Let's go ahead and join them right now.
Let's do it. Let's find him. Who's streaming right here? What is it? Oh, Godboy. Okay, let's hop right in. I'm doing it.
Yep.
I'll see you over there. What's up, Mid-Tom? How are you, man?
Okay, did we get this right? Okay.
Yeah, I think we're in. I think we're good.
So we are looking at it from Bib Bib's perspective here, and I cannot see a darn thing.
I am not. I am also not seeing anything right now. Well, we might have Godboy.
I see a black screen.
Okay. All right. We'll try to set up the screen share real quick right now. Lamp, can you communicate with him? Tell him to maybe reset his screen share or something.
I feel like we need to go to Bib.
Oh, is Bib also screen share?
I see a Bib.
Oh yeah. Let's hop into Bib. Okay. Let's hop over. All right. Let's check out Bib's perspective. See how this works. Potentially a little bit better. Shout out to Godboy, but his stream is just not working.
Here we go.
Oh, we in here? We're good.
Here we go. We are here, and this game is already in progress. It is game 2. Godboy is up 1-0. And it looks like Bib is choosing a Pokemon to do damage to. This game 2 is already in the middle of a game state right now. With Giratina completely loaded up. Repel is going to pull up the Giratina, and Suicune is going to go ahead and Crystal Waltz the Giratina for 80 points of damage. But now, given the board state, we're going to expect to see some hardcore retaliation from Godboy, who is 1 point away from getting into the top 4 and a date with Sharias plays.
Interesting. I'm trying to get this game pulled up right now. Oh, is it working? Oh, hold on. Give me one second.
Working on my end.
All right. I'm working on it real quick.
I will also say that Bib Bib is currently currently has like less than 10% battery on his phone right now, which is not a good scenario for a streaming deal here. But Godboy definitely going for the for pretty much everything here. The potion does drop. I didn't see who it dropped to. It looks like it dropped onto the Giratina. But Chaotic Impact is going to be the play to take out the Suicune and go up 2 points. Godboy, 1 point away from getting into the semifinals.
Wow, I gotta update the games here. Like the images. I haven't done it yet, so you keep commentating. I'll update the deck list.
I'll keep going. All right. So we got the Pokeball on Bib Bib to bring out a Giratina, but of course right now we have to be on the offensive instead of loading up the Giratina. Mars is going to come down from Bib Bib's side, so Godboy's now gonna have 1 card in hand, and the Water Shuriken is gonna go on the Darkrai. Why not? Because Suicune is ready to just take this Giratina out. And Suicune is going to go ahead and Crystal Waltz into the Giratina for 80 points of damage. Now it is all tied up at 2-2, and Godboy only has a Darkrai with 20 HP left.
Okay, so it looks like we're moving on to a game 3 at least. I didn't change the graphics on screen for no reason. But yeah, man, you know, this matchup is really, yeah, Godboy with the concession there, right? So 1-1.
We do see the concede. So we do this. You know what's funny? This is the first game 3 that we've seen all day.
I know, right? And
on the stream,
we barely missed we missed like the first 2 games. It's kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're gonna go ahead and get set up for game 3 here. Let me go ahead and take a quick peek at what's going on in the meta game here to see who's still alive and who's eliminated. All the Guzzlord decks are gone, Maddies.
No.
We still have. I mean, we do have Tapu Koko and Oricorio. We just saw that with Sharias plays. Looks like Super Peace has let me double check that to make sure, but I think our Charizard hero still in play. Yes, Super Peace has defeated Ghost 319, so we have a Charizard in the top 4. This is
Charizard's in top 4, Mita? It hasn't. That's the only one of top cut. He made it all the way. That's crazy.
He's in top 4. He's in top 4 right now. That is insane. So we have a Tapu Koko Oricorio and a Charizard in the top 4. We are seeing a matchup between Darkrai and Suicune now.
Are they facing each other? Or are they in different? They're in different games.
No. Sharias is on one side of the bracket. The Charizard will be on the other side of the bracket.
That's huge.
We might have a chance to have a no Suicune matchup here.
That would be awesome.
Oh my goodness. It is possible. We might see no Suicune Greninjas in the top 4. Let's see how this is going to go. But it looks like we are heading into the game 3. It is Godboy. It is Bib Bib. It is game 3 with everything on the line. And Bib Bib only has a Froakie, and it only has another Froakie. Oh no! Professor's research is going to be needed to draw 2 cards, and we do see a Suicune, so there is still life left in it for the for Bib Bib.
But going first is tough, right? Because, you know, without a retreat card, you know, Suicune's just not going to be able to attack on time. That Giratina will just be able to slowly creep up. That is, of course, if he gets it down, right? Going second, Giratina is theoretically a turn behind rather than going first. And it looks like we might not even see the Giratina, which could be a massive deal here in this matchup. And Godboy whiffs the Giratina on his first turn, and we do see Rare Candy Greninja come out here this turn. This is a massive deal. This is actually an incredibly important thing to have happen here. Wow, okay. So just like that, you know, Giratina Darkrai is a really strong deck, and it's very consistent, right, Mid-Tom? But it relies on having Giratina and Darkrai, which, you know, it oftentimes does, but sometimes it doesn't. And Giratina is a big one, right? So not having Darkrai on your first turn, not that big of a deal, right? But not having Giratina on your first turn, that's a massive deal, because it means that we're not even going to be able to attack with the Giratina until, like, turn 5, which is, like, really rough, you know what I mean? I gotta put this audio down.
See the rare candy on the we do see the rare candy on the Froakie evolving into the Greninja. So we are going to go ahead and pip for 20 here. And Bib Bib's just slowed down. Hello. What are we considering here? Well, not much, because we're gonna just go ahead and water Shuriken on the Darkrai. Now, to your point, Mads, not having. Oh, is he going to retreat here to get some extra draws here?
I would retreat for the draw, yeah, especially just because you have that other rare candy in hand and another Froakie on the bench. So the upside of potentially drawing into the second Greninja is big, and we have Irida as a bit of a buffer, right? So we know that we can, you know, get the attack off with Suicune here, and now we have 2 Irida. So Suicune's not really a threat to get KO'd with Irida in hand, right? Which is a big deal. So I like the retreat play here. I think it's correct, but the cards are piling up in Godboy's hand. So it's sort of like, you know, are we going to get Mars? Are we going to get red carded? The Rocky Helmet could be relevant for sure, but if he doesn't bench anything, the Suicune's not really going to be able to deal any damage, right? And Godboy is playing some healing cards, of course, as Giratina Darkrai does. So, you know, this solo Darkrai, of course, looking pretty disadvantageous. Here comes the potion, the Rocky Helmet damage as well. You know, he's not in that bad of a spot because, you know, typically speaking, this Suicune's not really going to be able to do a ton. But at least we're drawing extra cards, right, all the while, right, Mid-Tom? So This could go either way, but the problem is with the solo Darkrai is that, it might be fine for this first kind of head-to-head matchup, but anything after this is going to be a bit of a struggle just because you don't have anything to attack with after the Darkrai, right, realistically. So Greninja here can handle it. Suicune will be getting an attack off, but at this point, you might even decide to just start committing the next energy to to Greninja, because Greninja at this point is going to do more damage than Suicune will. Right now, it's only doing 40 damage. It's not really worth using, right? And he is going to heal it up with Irida that way, so he just doesn't get KO'd, I suppose. Probably the correct play.
I would anticipate that the longer we go into this match without seeing Giratina, the more
Ooh,
comfortable and the more decisive Bib Bib is going to get. As we do see the red card to
Greninja
reset Bib Bib's
and
hand.
research and Cape.
But now good boy God boy is in a world of hurt. Definitely not feeling very, very godly right now without the Giratina god. We do see the Dark Prism to attack Suicune for 80. And now, interestingly enough, the not having the Giratina in the bench is actually slowing down Suicune's offensive output. So there is a little bit of light there. However, that light is very, very thin and narrow. The water shuriken does come
Mm,
off from the Greninja on the bench to do 20 damage. Now Bib Bib is going to have a very, very interesting decision here, because if you attack with Suicune, you're getting Rocky Helmet damage,
yeah,
and so
so you
therefore
can't. But
you will basically get hit by Darkrai's Nightmare Aura. But if he chooses to to go with it anyway and do the Giant Cape, you can get some damage in. But
oh, he's
Bib
actually
Bib,
healing to
one water
attack with
energy
Greninja.
short.
I actually don't mind this. It's like a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. He's like, I'm gonna go ahead, and I'm gonna get the damage off here, right? Because the healing does exist. Now, the awkward thing here though is that he does have a Mars in hand, which is actually probably gonna be really relevant because after Suicune goes down this turn, a Sabrina could win the game, right? Because we don't have any other Pokemon. He can just Sabrina around the Greninja to KO the Froakie. So we have Irida caping the Suicune here to get the damage off this turn. I think is pretty relevant. We draw into the Pokeball. He already played his red card, but we know that Godboy does also play a Mars in the deck, right? So if he gets double disrupted, this could be a pretty big deal. I think that there's actually a little bit of room for Darkrai to win this game here, hilariously, which is kind of crazy. And he actually goes down to the ping here. So again, if he has Sabrina in hand, then he actually just wins the game here, which is kind of nuts. And is he playing Sabrina or is he
Wait,
not?
no. But
Oh, he's just
even
playing
no, he
Repel.
can't play Sabrina in that deck. No, he can't play Sabrina in right now, even if he had, because he had to use the Guzma to get rid of the
Oh,
Giant Cape.
I see.
That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
so he cannot play a supporter on this turn right now.
But he can bench the
So
Giratina though.
instead, the Dark Prism is going to be the play. Just go after the Greninja up front. And now, if
Wow.
you are Bib Bib, what are you going to do?
So
We can see Bib Bib's hand,
you
and
gotta
I don't see a lot of options right now.
you gotta Pokeball. You have to Pokeball to find a Suicune or a Giratina. Either is fine so that you're safe from the Sabrina play. You could Mars this turn, Mars him to 1, but you're forced to Irida. So Iridating here is fine, but then you lose to the Cyrus, right? So if we if we don't Irida and we don't Mars, then we lose to Cyrus, and he is playing, of course. Is that one copy of Cyrus in the deck? He's gonna bring up the Giratina. This is a smart play. I actually like this play, because what it does here is it allows you to get maybe an extra turn of damage off. And even if he has, a way to gust around you or have Cyrus, then he can't KO, right? Now, he's also playing one Leaf in the deck. I don't know if he's played it yet. I don't think he has. So I actually think that Godboy's in a really good spot, interestingly enough. There's 20 damage on the Greninja. Now, he does pull the Giratina off of the Pokeball, which has actually been unfortunate, truthfully, and he can still retreat here. So what we need here, or I guess the truth is that he can't Cyrus up to KO the Greninja with a ping and a Leaf in the same turn, right? So that's really relevant. But the attachment will still work. So the Cyrus play doesn't actually really matter if he has Cyrus of his own, right? Because he can do damage from the bench with Darkrai. So he's got the concede button ready if we see the Cyrus, and we do see the Cyrus.
Wait,
He's got it anyway.
I
Wow.
got it anyway.
Wow, he
And
got locked
that's
in.
it.
That's crazy.
That is it. God Boy has eliminated yet another Suicune Greninja player.
Wow.
We are 3 for 3 in terms of non-Suicune players, my Mads. And I am just double checking to see if we have. It looks like we are down to one Suicune Greninja player remaining. Lights has defeated Senor Barriga to finally qualify for the top 8, but now he is the only Suicune. Actually, I take that. Wait, can I? This does not reload. Reload. Immediately. No. Actually, hang on. Is this correct? Yes, it is. Lights XZ has just started his quarterfinal match against Dario 08, and that is a Suicune Greninja player going up against Dario 08's Tapu Koko Pikachu deck.
Wow.
So
Wow.
so Mads, it might actually happen. We might have a top 4 with no Suicune at all.
Wouldn't that
exciting.
be wouldn't that be incredible? Yeah, an absolutely incredible outcome here. Like I said, a lot of Suicunes in day 2, but just a lot of anti-Suicunes. So we looks like we kind of locked into maybe one of those scenarios. But I think that we can kind of follow Godboy right into his top 4 match. I believe, right? Because he'll be ready because he moved on, right? So he's already paired up against his top 4 opponent.
I would like to do Sharia's point of view instead, because
Sure.
when we tried to do God Boy's perspective, I couldn't see it.
Oh, right, because we were just streaming
So
Bib. Yeah, okay.
yeah. So let's go ahead and jump over to Sharias, and let's get that ready to go.
Is he still streaming here? Wow, which one do we know?
Yep.
Where is he? Oh, yeah, he's up here. All right, let's do it. Let's hop on over.
You got it?
Yep. All right. Perfect. We're in it. We're ready for top 4. I'm actually extremely excited, mainly just because, we're finally getting to that point in the tournament where now every match really matters, and every player in top 4 has qualified, of course, for prizing, right? So really, everybody's playing for money right now. Everybody's playing for keeps. It's the final tournament, and a nice little variety. A couple lightning decks here. Charizard has made it into top 4. Maybe that last deck that makes it into top 4 is Suicune. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's Pikachu, Tapu Koko. We'll really have to see. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to update the graphics here, Mid-Tom, and we'll get this next game ready to roll here in top 4. Very, very, very exciting.
So let me do a few shout outs here, because we've had we've had a variety of decks that we had penciled in, possibly to kind of look at, both Guzzlord decks are already eliminated. Jonelix, the top Guzzlord finisher, at 14th. We did see a Buzzwole player, Uriel03, representing the Buzzwole, ultimately going down to Schmeckle, who we just featured. That is a 26th place finish for Uriel. And we also, of course, shout out to Javi, who we featured in the first match today, losing to Binka in the top 64. Official finish there, 47th. Also, if you guys saw a lot of Crowbats rolling around on Master Ball ranks, Crobat representing Crobat Sylveon, finishing 59th, and Crobat Darkrai finishing 60th. That's Toxic Lucio and Black Tactics, respectively. So there are a few unique decks that did make it, but of course, a lot of Suicune Giratinas, a lot of Suicune Giratinas, but also Darkrai Giratina. Darkrai Daycare has made an appearance here. I believe the top finisher of that is Rue, who finished in 19th. But most of the decks that we feature today are pretty much the decks that have kind of topped the board. And as I mentioned earlier, Light XC, the last Suicune Greninja player still in play, we might be setting up for all 5 players that have finished. Not finished. All 5 players that are still playing, different deck types. I'm loving the variety.
That's awesome.
That is different story from the last time we did a no ban tournament 2 weeks ago.
It was all Suicune. It looks like we're ready. We're hopping into our first top 4 match here, Mid-Tom. Sharias versus Godboy, Giratina Darkrai versus Oricorio Tapu Koko. This is a matchup, and we've seen only Tapu Kokos really from Sharia now. We have the opportunity to see Oricorio really carrying this matchup. Double PCL, double Giant Cape. I mean, this is a matchup theoretically that these Oricorios should absolutely dominate in, but we've seen like 4 games in a row where Sharias just hasn't even ever led Oricorio. So it's going to be a really interesting match here. I'm super excited. Congrats to both players for making top 4. Shout out to Box.gg for sponsoring the tournament. Shout out to everybody for watching. Let's hop right into this mid-tom. Let's go.
We go. Game 1. It is Godboy. It is Sharia. It is Oricorio versus Giratina. Let's get this party started.
Oh man, and we see
It's
the Oricorio lead.
To start.
He always has the lead he needs to. What's up with that? What's the deal? He is going first though, so I mean theoretically speaking, if a Darkrai comes down from Godboy on his first turn, then that's going to be a scenario where he's basically like a turn behind in terms of the overall damage output. But we do see the red card, we see double research, we see Giant Cape in hand. There's one PCL, there's one Rocky Helmet. These are very very valuable cards. Now Godboy is playing one Guzma, right? So those Guzmas going to be pretty valuable. I don't believe that Sharia... Oh, no, Sharia's also playing Guzma. So both players are playing Guzma. In fact, yeah, Sharia's deck is kind of entirely built for the Giratina Darkrai matchup. For him to face this matchup specifically in top 4 of this tournament is very fortunate for him, I will say. But yeah, man, really goes to show the versatility of this Tapu Koko Oricorio deck.
And with the decks set up the way that they are now, if Godboy uses Guzma, doesn't matter. You still have tools in the back line.
Right.
Sharia coming in very, very prepared here, electing not to put down the Tapu Koko onto the bench here, instead just leaving the status quo as they are.
Yeah, you don't want to get repelled.
He's gonna put a lightning energy on the red card, and the red card, yeah, I do see that. I do see he does not want to get repelled here for 100%. Red card to reset the hand here.
I like it. Yeah, a little bit of card advantage goes a long way. For sure.
And I would presume he's not going to wait, I'm sorry. Oh,
he's just going to pass it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm seeing a lot of top players do this more and more often, where they have the Pokeballs and the professors, where they have all the draw power, and then elect not to use it.
It's a smart
anticipating. Yeah, it's a great anticipation of it. Like, if someone plays Mars against you, right? If you have a bad hand, why not let them Mars you so that you have extra draws? Right. I'm seeing a lot of players do that a lot more.
The second PCL as well. So now, yeah, and like to your point, right? He's got like, I think, one red card, one Mars in the deck, right? So you don't benefit anything by playing any of those cards that turn. So why play them, right? You might as well just have them in case maybe you do get Mars or red carded. But now we can PCL back up to 80 HP. That Pokeball does grab the Oricorio, and we see the second PCL in the hand as well, right? So he's in a good spot. And there's no Rocky Helmet on the board right now for Godboy. So, as far as going first goes, this is kind of the ideal scenario. We can bounce between a couple of Oricorios for a few turns here. He's trying to play a supporter, even though he already played it for the turn. I'm not sure exactly what Sharia is doing, but he does have a second PCL in hand. He's got double Oricorio on board. The damage is going to start to be outputted here. And yeah, I like the situation that he's in. He doesn't have a Guzma in hand. That's really the only thing that he's missing here. But we don't see the Rocky Helmet from Godboy yet either. And he's only actually playing he's playing 2 Rocky Helmet, but he's playing 1 Giant Cape as well, which is an interesting scenario. The 3 tool card Giratina Darkrai deck is crazy. So yeah, we're into the slow game here. This is the old classic. We've seen a lot of fast games today, Mid-Tom. Today, this is not going to be one of those games. This is going to be a slow crawler, and I'm here for it. I really, really am. But
I will take a slow crawler, considering Lights XZ and Dario 08 still haven't decided who's going to be in the top 4. Right. We need all the time, and we need all the stall that we can get here. As it's Sharia to play, and really considering his next move here, but he is going to elect to finally, and I say finally because that thing's been in the hand for like 3 full circuits already, but he's going to finally go ahead and Professor's Research to draw 2 before zapping the Giratina for an extra 50 damage.
Is that actually the attack name for Oricorio? I never noticed. It's literally called...
It's technically a zap, but there's 3 Z's, so zap.
That's awesome. I never realized that. That's incredible. Of course, Safeguard, the most iconic ability in all of Pokemon Pocket, truthfully. I mean, this card is meta-defining. Saved the metagame when it came out. The second Giant Cape is out now, but again, you got to be a little bit careful because they do play their own Guzma, right? So maybe we don't attach that Giant Cape just, in anticipation of getting Guzma on our own right. We are playing that PCL, though that is not a question. And now we can begin to split energies on Tapu Koko. So this is an important aspect of this matchup. Oricorio can stall. However, Giratina Darkrai Midtom is playing their own healing cards, right? So theoretically speaking, we're oftentimes going to need a bigger hitter, like a more, damaging Pokemon to finish off KOs. Here comes that first Rocky Helmet. That could indeed matter quite heavily. So that's why we're kind of benching the Tapu Koko and setting it up, because that 90 damage attack theoretically will likely be, the difference between winning and losing at some point in this game. But what we can do here is top deck the Guzma.
And the Guzma comes in.
But Midtom, we might not play it because we might be waiting for that second Rocky Helmet to come down, right? So it's kind of mind games a little bit. It's a little bit of mind games. We could retreat into this Tapu Koko. It's got more HP. I like this play. Holding on to Giant Cape and Guzma is a little bit suspect. I'm not going to lie. Both PCLs have been used up already, but it's totally fine because if you really think about this, Midtom, we're going to attack here. We're going to take a little bit of damage, but all we need to win this game is just one more attack off onto really anything, and then Tapu Koko can kind of do it for the most part, right? So I like this play, and in general, I think that, the math doesn't work out on Giratina. I stand corrected. He goes into the Darkrai anyway, and he does play healing. So anyway, I'm rambling a bit right now, but I like his position regardless. I really, really do. I like his position regardless. And there's the second Rocky Helmet, right? So he was smart.
Now this is gonna anticipate that the Guzma play is gonna come down in the next turn. But
that's a big deal. Really big deal.
What God Boy doesn't know. He can't attack, so he has to Broken Space Bellow. But now here comes Sharia. He's gonna put down the last Pokemon in his deck, and the Guzma does come down.
That's no more Rocky Helmets.
Rocky Helmet.
Yeah, goodbye.
And there will be no. And now it's just come. There's only one way to do chip damage to the Oricorio, and that is the Nightmare Aura of Darkrai, the Darkrai ability. That's your only chance at it. And so now God Boy's gonna get chipped away until it is time for Sharias to strike.
Oh, the Mars is big.
Gonna go ahead and God Boys is going to go ahead and Mars away down to one hand. But again, as I said all match, what God Boy doesn't know is what God Boy doesn't know.
He Marsed him into the Cyrus. It's unfortunate. Yeah, it's tough. No Giant Cape, no potion. Oh man. This is how these games go, though. It's how these games go, Midtom. It's tough that he did Mars him to one and he just had the Cyrus. What is he, top deck? It's the X speed, but
Of course. Again, and now God Boy's gonna know that the Mars was in vain. The Darkrai is gonna get pulled up, and of course, God Boy knows what's gonna happen. Of course, he's gonna concede. Sharia is 1-0 and one game away from Grand Finals.
Let's go. Jeff Hoogland was right. Yeah, Mars red card. They're not reliable. Horrible cards. You should never play the mid-top. No, I mean, I think in theory, it's a crazy top deck. He put himself, he Marsed him into, he worked himself into a shoot in that one right there, mid-top. But the thing is that the thing is that Oricorio probably just would have won the game anyway, right? I mean, even there's just, what do you do, right? I mean, you just can't draw cards forever. So yes, I think that the outcome of that game probably would have been the same regardless, unless you got super lucky off the Mars. But in the same vein, it goes like that, right? Sometimes he Mars them into the exact card they need. Going into game two, though.
If you're God Boy, how do you play that game too differently? Because
you don't.
You definitely want it. You don't.
You do the exact same thing and hope that they don't have what they have. Because I mean, there's a world where maybe they go first and they lead Coco. Maybe they whiff a couple of Oricorios. Maybe you can take a 2-prize KO early in the game and then you win, right? So it's really kind of out of your hands. However, we are seeing Oricorio going second, leading off this time. Not what you want to see if you're the Giratina Darkrai player. In fact, if I'm, if I'm God Boy here, I'm feasting. I'm foaming at the mouth, just waiting to see the Tapu Koko in the active. But going first, leading Darkrai, and Oricorio lead going second. It's just not what you want. This is not at all what you want. So, we're likely going to see another slow creeping game here from Sharias. Just again, his deck is specifically built for this matchup. So, he got a little bit fortunate in the last couple of games, but in this game, the luck kind of paid off, right? And he just ended up hitting a Giratina Darkrai this late in the game. So, We'll see how this goes here. Both players kind of just play off the top deck. That's really what this match comes down to, right? It's like, do you have your PCLs? Do you have your giant capes? Do you have your gust cards? Does the hand disruption stick? Do we get double Oricorios out? Do you get your Guzmas? Like, there's a lot of questions that kind of pop up when you're playing this matchup here. You kind of just have to watch it slowly unfold.
As game 2 goes along, where we don't expect to see an attack on Oricorios from the Oricorio because the energy is not there. So I will give a quick update on the other side of the bracket. Lights XC did eliminate Daria 08, so Suicune Greninja is still alive.
Nobody's
the
safe.
other side of the other side of the semifinal will be Suicune Greninja versus Super Pieces Charizard. So the story is not over yet, but we're going to see. We'll see that in the next match. But meanwhile, we are into like turn 5-ish. So Sharias is set up for the Zap move right here. No Rocky Helmet on Godboy's side, so the water is safe. What water? I don't see no water, but it is safe to zap the Darkrai for 50 damage. And now Godboy still doesn't have the energy to attack with either Pokemon, but it's getting set up here. The Nightmare Aura to do 20 points of pip damage before Broken Space Bell to set the Giratina up and ready to attack at any given moment. Sharias is going to put down the final Tapu Koko. All Avengers have been assembled on Sharias' side, but he is going to go ahead and put the lightning energy on the Oricorio here. Are we going to insult to injury? No! He is going to go ahead and zap the Darkrai for another 50 points of damage, but now Godboy has the energy ready to counterattack.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle like the entire game here. There's just nothing you can really do other than hope that maybe you can get an early KO on the Tapu Koko, right? But at this point, double Oricorios are out. He's going to be able to be basically a turn ahead on energy as well because he went second. We don't see any healing yet, which could definitely play a factor. If we just never see PCL, then theoretically, you could be in a tough spot. This red card is big though. The card advantage here.
Here comes the red on the Oracle. Red.
Oh, he's got red
Darkrai
too.
Darkrai is going down, and red has been used.
Wow.
So red card and red, the double red combo, and Oricorio's gonna go ahead and but we're gonna go ahead and go and switch to the other Corio to super zap the Darkrai into oblivion. Sharias goes up 2 points to nothing.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It really is. It's tough out here. The red ended up actually being really clutch. You wouldn't think that the red would matter that much in this matchup, but as we just saw, that extra bit of healing and the giant cape can actually make the math kind of work in red's favor, right? So just another option in the Tapu Koko Oricorio deck. Really what we're going to see here is some desperation. The Rocky Helmet's coming down maybe a little bit too late. We are getting some damage off on this Darkrai, but we see the Sabrina in hand as well, right? So theoretically speaking, unless we see like more basic Pokemons from Godboy, and there's the Cyrus mid-tom, that is likely going to be the game-winning Cyrus at some point. He can freely play the Sabrina right now to get around the Rocky Helmet, do even more damage, take the energy here, put it on that Tapu Koko to set up for a KO later, and have that Cyrus to bring it in later in the game as well. We even have another giant cape if we really want to attach it at some point, right? But again, holding it for that Guzma to come out from Godboy if it ever does. I believe that Sharias has played this matchup pretty perfectly, but also had pretty perfect, starts like to both games. Like I think he's just been in a very advantageous position. So playing very properly. Force the manual retreat out into the Darkrai. More damage comes down, hoping that he can hit into the Rocky Helmet. But even if he does, right? I mean, what are the odds that we don't top deck a PCL, right? 7 cards in the deck. It's very relevant. There's a lot of okay, all right. I'm getting too ahead of myself. But when I'm calculating all of the outcomes here, mid-tom, of how this game ends, I'm still really in favor of the Oricorio here, right? So,
I am
um,
also in favor of the Oricorio and the Tapu Koko. I think Sharias has played the Oricorios to perfection here. Not with like because of the way Darkrai Giratina is kind of set up. If you have two Oricorios out on the field, it's really hard to do pretty much anything. You really can't do anything until the first Oricorio's off on the board, and Sharias has played it perfectly. The Mars to Boo to reset the hand, but we are going to go ahead and zap the Darkrai for 50 more points of damage. But now, look at where we are. That Tapu Koko in the back, ready to pounce for 90. And unless Godboy can find a way to heal, this game is over.
and what do we see here? We see the Guzma, so he will be able to take a KO here on the Oricorio. So if he has like Guzma and a healing card here, and we whiff a PCL from Sharias, like theoretically speaking, he can win. And this is what I was saying, right? So you go into Oricorio here with only 10 HP, but you can't, you're safe, right? So which is kind of
Yes.
crazy. So theoretically speaking, he either has the ability to win this game or not. He's going to retreat. We see the one Cyrus in Sharia's hand, which is coincidentally, like I said, the card that he's going to need to win here. So,
And
yeah,
it,
man.
and that broken space bellow, Godboy doesn't know it, but that is going to seal his
The
fate.
PCL top deck
We
anyway,
are
too.
going to see we are going to see the Cyrus being
Wow.
played on the Darkrai, and of course there's only one route to victory here. Retreat the Oricorio, bring up the Tapu Koko, and mock both the Darkrai to oblivion. Godboy isn't going to let it happen. He waves the white flag immediately. Sharias plays is going to take his Tapu Koko Oricorio deck into Grand Finals of Pocket Mats
Wow,
5.
man. Congratulations. One more game. He's one game away from being the final champion of this first year of Pokemon Pocket. However, he has to face down either a Suicune Greninja or a Charizard. One of those matchups I think I would rather play, but theoretically speaking, we should have advantageous matchups into either of those decks, right? So our next top four match, the final top four match of the tournament, will be Lights versus Super Peace here. I'm really excited because this is, again, the matchup. This is a rematch of the finals of a couple of weeks ago where Charizard was unable to make it happen, right? In the grand finals
Yeah.
there into Suicune. So this is going to be a really interesting one. Now, on paper, Charizard actually has one of the best matchups into Suicune in the entire game. So I'm really excited to see how this next top four match, pops off here. But before we get into that, Mid-Tom, let's go ahead and do another little boxed.gg opening before we get into our final
Let's
top
go.
top four matchup here. Big shout out to box.gg, the sponsor of today's tournament. Absolutely incredible. They are just completely carrying things here in the competitive Pocket community, doing what they got to do here. We're opening some more Mega Evolution booster packs. Again, a great way to get the same sort of digital pack opening experience, but instead of digital cards in Pokemon Pocket, it's for IRL cards, real life Pokemon cards, and they'll ship them right to your door. Absolutely incredible here. What are we gonna get? We get a Schmeckle, one of my favorite Pokemon cards of recent times here. Just incredible art here. We're gonna crack a couple cards open here and see if we can get something pretty rare. Either way, big shout out to box.gg. Use the affiliate code, and we do get the Wally's Compassion. That is an expensive card right there. Wow, that's a nice one. That is an incredible pull. Super cool, man. I just love opening packs of Pokemon cards. I do it for Pokemon Pocket. I do it in real life. This is a great way to get best of both worlds, and I don't got to spend hundreds of dollars on sealed Pokemon product, which is just massively overpriced right now. So big shout out to box.gg for sponsoring the tournament, for sponsoring and upholding basically the competitive Pokemon Pocket scene. Absolutely incredible for them. Go check it out. Use affiliate code PocketMads. Absolutely incredible. Let's open one more here, and then we'll get into our next top four match. I appreciate everybody for watching. Go ahead, go support box.gg. They are doing big things for us and for the Pokemon Pocket community. Here we go. All right, nothing too crazy off those openings, but the good part is about box is that even the not huge pulls we get are still really rare pulls in normal packs, right? That's the big upside for sure. So anyway, there we go. Shout out to box.gg. Go check them out. And I think we're ready. Mid-Tom, to get into our next top four match. What do you think?
I can't find them.
Are they
I cannot find out where I can't find Super Peace or Lights.
are they not streaming? I'll talk
On
to them.
the I yeah, okay, so yeah, cover that. Meanwhile, let me go ahead and and do some more shout outs. I don't know if I got to everybody, but I want to make sure I give everybody some love here as we are setting up for our final semifinal. Huge shout out to Dario08 being the Tapu Koko Pikachu deck that is not named Sharias to actually the top Pikachu deck. Dario08 bringing Pikachu to the top 8. Shout out to them. Pocket news we just saw and Brago TCG 10th and 12th respectively with the Savali Zero Aura. I did mention earlier Joe Nelix, the top Guzzlord player, finishing 14th. King Quab, the Tapu Koko Pikachu player, finishing 17th. We Rue, the top daycare Darkrai player, but also score in 21st. Nabrix, our champion, our first ever Pocket Match champion, finishing 22nd, ultimately losing to Bib Bib. But shout out to him for making yet another top cut. In a top cut here, Yoria03.
Super pieces streaming, by the way, Tom.
And
we are ready.
What?
We're ready.
We are ready?
Yeah, we can hop in. Super
Okay, so let's go. Let's go ahead and let's get into it. The winner will face Sharias Plays in the grand finals. Let's go ahead and jump over there, Matt.
Let's do it. I'm excited. All right. Absolutely incredible. This tournament's been really fun. I mean, yes, it was the last tournament, of course, of the year of Pokemon Pocket, but either way, the tournament itself, that aside, has actually been extremely hype, mainly just because of the variety that we're seeing here in Top Cut. Yes, this weekend did make top 4. We're about to see it right now. Light XE, who also, I believe, topped one of our previous tournaments. I mean, just one of the better players, I would say. Very familiar here. But what we're going to see is, of course, the matchup into Charizard. And, we saw this a couple of weeks ago in the grand finals. Charizard had the opportunity, Mid-Tom, to overcome Suicune and win. Theoretically, on paper, Charizard has one of the best matchups into Suicune, but it can still lose. We saw it lose in the grand finals there. I believe that Charizard, this is the only Charizard that played or made it into top cut, now making it all the way to top 4. I would love to see Charizard win this tournament. The lone Charizard, it wasn't one of the most played decks. It definitely is a unique sort of aspect right now. I was talking previously about how it being kind of a two-face metagame, but honestly, I think at this point, there are some shades of sort of a three-face meta where we have Suicune, we have Charizard, which is very anti-Suicune, and then we have some of those maybe Oricorio Lightning type decks. So we might be seeing the result of that actually at this tournament here. And if Charizard goes on to beat Suicune, he has to play Oricorio in the finals. That's going to be a tough matchup for sure. We'll have to see. Either way, I'm looking at this from Light's perspective, whereas, okay, not only do I have to get over this Charizard matchup, a very tough matchup, but I also have to get over Oricorio Tapu Koko next round, which is also theoretically a matchup that can be very, very difficult. But, even though there's two really tough matchups ahead of him, he still can make it happen, and he's a great player. Suicune Greninja is a deck that can always win, so we need to be prepared for even the single Suicune deck in top 4 here to make it happen. I'll be really, really interested to see if that can happen. I know some people in general might be, a little bit disappointed to see if Suicune does end up winning this, but at the same vein, you know what? I think that, the competition today has been absolutely incredible in the amount of different decks. Really, I think this metagame kind of ended up being a lot more fun than I could have realized. I really am confident that there's about 5 to 6 really top meta contending decks right now this season, Mid-Tom. Unfortunately, in about 3 or 4 days, they're all going to be irrelevant, most likely, with the release of B1. We don't know yet, but things are likely going to shake up a ton. Next weekend, Mid-Tom's going to be an absolute banger of a tournament, and we will be here. We will be here for it.
I'm with you. I think there was legitimately 5 or 6 evenly spaced out top decks, but no one can figure out how to break through the Suicune Greninja until potentially too late. And sometimes that's just what happens with Pocket's current schedule. We always have to kind of flip 4 weeks. They've just tried out an 8 to 9 week schedule where, and look, we had 5 extra weeks to figure it out as players, and we didn't. It was our fault that Suicune Greninja dominated waited so much, and we are gonna switch to a 6-week cycle next week when B1 comes out. So look, guys, we need variety, but it's up to us to come up with the variety. But as Super Piece is searching for lights right now, like like if you guys haven't started theory crafting with the megas that are out with Mega Absol, with Mega Blaziken, with Mega Gyarados. If we haven't started theory crafting now before the cards come out, yes, there are a lot of cards that we don't know about yet, but we have some good ones. Okay,
Oh yeah.
we have the Mega Absol, we have the Mega Blaziken, we have Flame Patch, which is going to be huge for the
my
fire
gosh.
with the fire
That
for the
card,
fire decks.
that
Yeah,
card is going to change the game indefinitely. I actually said, like, even if we got no new Pokemon, which we're getting a lot of new Pokemon, but even if we had no new Pokemon, Flame Patch and May are going to completely change the metagame in their own right. So I'm extremely excited.
I predict May's going to be the new best card in the game. But
It's
here we
such a
go.
good card. It's going to be so good.
Semifinals. It is Super Piece. It is Lights. It is semifinals. It is Red versus Blue. They are representing with the card backs immediately. And here we go. It's going to be Cleffa on Super Piece's side. And it's going to be Suicune on Lights' side.
Wow, this is the start we want. I mean, I don't know if you can see Mid-Tom, okay? I assume you can see those cards in Piece's hand, because I personally am taking a look here and I see a Charizard EX. I see a rare candy. I see us going second. I see us potentially, popping off. And the Sabrina is kind of also an insane top deck, by the way. Cards like that, like Sabrina, Repel, those types of cards into Suicune are a massive deal, really, because what it does is it puts them behind a turn. And
I like this play by Super Piece.
I love this play.
Because he's already got this. He's already going second. Why the hell not? Just go ahead and pip the Suicune for 30. Charmander does the Ember on the Suicune. Oh no!
He called him out.
Lights is like, wait a second.
Oh wait,
you can't do that.
Oh, the plot armor.
You can't do that.
The plot armor.
Lights is gonna go ahead and Mars the Mars Super Piece, but as he's going to find out, it doesn't matter what you think.
Oh, let's go.
The rare candy to evolve the Charmander into the Charizard, and we're going to put the fire energy onto the Charizard. And you know what? Insult to energy. Let's draw 2 more cards. And you know what? Let's go ahead and Pokeball to call out the other Charmander in the deck. All Avengers have been assembled, and we are going to go ahead and stoke
he marsed him into
fire energy.
He marsed him into Charizard rare candy research. Listen, if Light is rewatching the stream here on delay, I apologize, Light, but I am literally rooting. I am literally rooting against you, and I should not be doing that as the organizer. As the only Suicune Gradage left in this tournament, everybody here is rooting against you, and I apologize for that. Not you personally, but just your deck list. He does actually have Irida and Giant Cape, which is absolutely crazy as a call out. So he's not going to be doing a ton of damage into this Charizard. In fact, it's only 60, and coincidentally, Lily also does heal for 60. But yeah, the Irida Giant Cape actually ended up being incredibly crazy of a top deck here. Unfortunately, it's just not going to matter for him because Charizard is just absolutely insane. So it's kind of insane that this is what happened. But yeah, man, let's go Charizard, the shiny Charizard EX. Coincidentally, not KOing the Suicune. Again, Giant Cape Irida on that turn is absolutely insane. But hey, still chilling here. We're going to just tank a hit from Charizard, from the Suicune. We're going to just tank another hit, KO, and then there's really nothing that he can do on the back end, truthfully. Unless we see a Suicune and a Froakie, which we might see, theoretically speaking here, Mid-Tom, it is possible for Suicune to win the game, right? If he has another basic, so what is that? That's going to be 100? Yeah, I mean, he can actually take the 2-hit KO on this Charizard. That's absolutely incredible. Oh, the Giant Cape is pretty nice. No, I'm actually feeling pretty confident.
I don't think the Giant Cape's gonna really help here. The red is gonna come down a bit too late here. And
no, Mid-Tom. No.
Oh no. Listen, if Charizard attacks, I see Suicune coming right back in to take out the Charizard, and now we are basically drawing down, and he doesn't put down the Charmander in his hand, so therefore Oh, no, no, no. That Charizard is going down, and we're just gonna have a Cleffa to boot. This is not good for Super Piece right now.
No.
Not good.
No. Oh, and he's got the basic too. I mean, he's got like a million cards in his hand. He's gonna have
And
Rare
and
Candy
this is
Greninja and basic, and then you just lose.
And this is
No.
one of those things where it's like Super Piece does not run Mars or Red Card. There is no hand disruption. Lights can do whatever the hell he wants right now, dude.
No. He had the
And
Irida
here
Rare
comes
Candy turn 1 or turn 2. He had it. He had the exact
yeah.
cards that he needed to, and he got Suicune down that turn. Oh my gosh, man. The plot armor is absolutely insane. Don't
He's
do it.
hovering over the
Come on,
oh,
Light.
no. Wait, wait,
He's
wait, wait, hold
BMing.
on. He's leafing, but oh no,
No, he's not
it's
BMing, but
over.
it's pretty funny.
It's over.
Uh
And of course that is gonna lead to a concede. Lights is gonna go ahead and win game one as the lone Suicune left standing. Now
please.
Super Piece has to win twice in a row in order to end the Suicune threat. If he doesn't do that,
No.
it's gonna come down to Sharias to have to do it.
No, if he didn't have second Suicune that turn, if he didn't have Irida and Giant Cape on that turn, then he would have never been able to take the KO, but it just worked out perfectly
Matt's
for the Suicune Greninja player. 4 lights, absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. Ah, man, God, I really do want Charizard in the finals. I really do, but you know what? Listen, shout out to Lights. I mean, such a great player. He knows exactly what he's doing here. The Suicune plot armor is real. It will kick in mid-tom. We go into
this
a very scary. This is a very scary game two here. If this Charizard, if Super Piece gets 2-0'd by Suicune, I might walk on out of here. I mean, our last hope is Sharia's playing that Tabacoco or Choreo. It's our last hope. It really is.
This is really playing out like a movie where the antagonist
I love
will
this
end
hand
up
though.
being the final boss here. But we kind of don't want to see it play out like a movie. But here we go, game two, and Super Piece
Don't get
is going to
Marsed.
start with Cleffa,
Don't get
and
Marsed.
and
He's
and now Lights is going to respond with the Suicune on the bench. There are two Suicunes out on
oh,
the field right now, and the Mars does
no.
drop.
There's no way. There's no way. Charmander, Research, Repel. Okay, these are good cards still. That's crazy that he had the turn 1 Mars back-to-back games. The plot armor is absolutely insane here. The Repel's going to be really nice. What we can do is still get another Cleffa attack off, and we tried to Charizard Rare Candy anyway. What is going on here? I think we still
double
Repel.
top deck, the double top deck,
Wow.
the rarest of all top.
Dude, he top decks them both. He just doesn't care. What a match, dude. Both of
And he's
these
gonna
players.
go ahead and repel so that Suicune doesn't have the water energy to attack. And we're gonna get a free Stoke, and we are going to get a free attack for 150. Yowza!
The Repel is really big here, mid-tom, because, we don't have any of those lilies in hand. So, if we do see, honestly, at this point, because both players have had every card they could possibly need, I'm expecting double basic and a retreat here and a leaf from Lights here. I would not be surprised. Okay, no retreat is massive. That is such a big deal here, because I was half expecting Light to have every single card he needed to here. And we also have the Lily. That's an incredible top deck. We're going to research anyway. And we do see another Charizard Rare Candy drop.
Oh my god! Oh my god! But Super Piece not electing to put down the Charmander though. Interesting move here.
That's fine. Yeah, it's fine. You don't need to.
Possibly to reduce the damage on Suicune.
What is going on,
now,
dude? You
now
just researched...
Giant Cape. Now Giant Cape is going to be the Charizard killer in this case, because that's going to force him. But we do see the concede. It is 1-1. We are all tied up. Lights 1, Super Piece 1. We are going to game 3, and with the grand finals on the line, can Super Piece be the hero that we've all been waiting for this entire time?
Mid-tom.
And take out the Suicune. Oh my god.
I don't know if you you got to understand. After he got Marsed, he drew into double researchers, okay? Both researchers he played drew a Charizard and a Rare Candy. Back to back.
Yes.
Literally. Both times he researched were both Charizard and Rare Candies. That is I don't even know. That might be the most ridiculous game of Pokemon Pocket I've ever seen. This matchup is absolute cinema. This is a straight up movie. And I can't believe what we're watching right now. I'm not gonna lie. Uh,
But now, but now he's gonna have to do it all over again. Will lightning strike 4 times in a row? But here we
Game
go.
three,
It
man.
is game three. Oh, and Lights is gonna start off with the Giratina. That is not the start that you want if you're a Suicune player.
Nope.
Super Piece is going to bring down a
But
Charmander,
we
but
see
the
the
Clefairy's
Charizard,
up front.
but we don't see the
He's
rare
gonna go
candy
ahead.
though.
He's gonna go ahead and Twinkly Toes anyway. So the Twinkly Call will pull another Pokemon into his hand. Now Lights is going to have to come up with something, anything to ensure that the tide is turned in his favor. Now Lights does have the advantage because no hands disruption is available,
Oh, he
and we do see
repels.
the repel.
I
So
don't
we
mind the
repel
repel.
into the. So we do see the repel into the Charmander, but we are going to go ahead and Broken Space Bellow anyway.
Top deck rare
Now,
candy. Oh, okay. Sorry.
now, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. All instead of doing the Ember like we've seen in game one, Charmander will just retreat
Yeah.
into the Cleffa, and now
This
here's
is scary.
the thing, though.
No rare candies.
Oh, don't. And I believe that might be a slight. That's right. There's a Charmeleon in the
Yeah,
hand.
he's got the Charmeleon.
Sweet.
He's thinning out the deck, but he does get Mars here. This Mars has popped up early every single game here. Does he draw through the Mars as we've seen so many times before? That is not what we see here. This Giratina might just sweep through this game because next turn he can bellow again. Again, like there's just nothing. I mean, we do get
Oh,
another Clef
no.
off here, but still no rare candy, and he's gonna have to thin those cards right back out of his deck. Unfortunately, a perfectly timed Mars, and it's a Charmeleon. It's not even a Charizard, so a top deck rare candy will not save him here. This is actually really detrimental for Peace. He's got none of the cards that he wants to have. This Giratina will start KOing after this turn, but he does top deck the research here, mid-tom, and he does get another Clef attack off here, and we see the Charizard, and we see the Lily.
But
So
no candy.
it's
But
okay because he.
But it's not. But it's not that matter because of the Charmeleon.
Right.
The Charmeleon bypasses the candy.
Right.
So regardless of what happens here, we are going to see Charizard coming in next turn to stoke up and do some damage. But now we've drawn so many cards on the Suicune Giratina side, and we have gone quite a while. That
Ooh, the Froakie comes down though.
You have to imagine that on the Suicune player side, on Light's side, all the cards left in the deck have to be Pokemon at this point. So we know we're going to get into an even board state now, where we're going to see all the monsters in play on Light's
Mid-tom,
end.
I'm playing Sabrina here, mid-tom, and the reason I'm doing that is I'm forcing the retreat to discard the energy off of Froakie so that he can't back-to-back attack with Giratina and Greninja. So that's what I'm doing here, or the repel, same difference. So I'm playing these cards here to force him to discard an energy. That's what I would do. He elects not to, which is actually insane. So he will be taking 130 damage to the face, plus probably a Greninja ping. This is a really, really big deal. I guess it doesn't actually matter.
And that Greninja's going to have enough water energy to
Right.
to attack once more. So
And it comes out.
Here it comes.
Does the giant cape?
Greninja.
Is he got? So he's taken 150 here. He goes down to 50 HP. Lily's to 110. But Greninja does 100 damage with weakness and ping, right? So this is going to come down to whether or not he has Cyrus or potentially a second rare candy Greninja, right? So the Irida comes down. That doesn't matter unless we see a giant cape here, because then he could force the win condition. So this is coming right down to the wire, mid-tom. This is absolutely incredible. If he Lilies here, he does get out of range of the Greninja KO. Unless we see another second rare candy Greninja or Cyrus, right? Both of those things could come down, but he could also top deck a rare candy to evolve that Charmander into another Charizard to potentially get around that exact thing happening. So this is going to be an absolutely incredible match. It's going to come down to the wire. He does have double rare candy in his 5-card deck. That would be a massive, massive top deck. But if we don't see the giant cape here from the Giratina, then, this Charizard's actually going to be just out of range, right? He's going to go down to 150. He's going to Lily up to 110. Greninja cannot deal enough damage to KO the Charizard. That's a really, really big deal. So we'll see what happens this game, but it could go either way. It really does come down to just a couple of cards, and we don't see it, right? So no giant cape, and not that it mattered anyway, because Giratina does damage to itself. We top deck the potion.
Oh, Lily and the potion.
However,
so that's gonna go ahead and bring him to 130.
Yes, but we still
HP.
lose to Cyrus. We still lose to Cyrus here, mid-tom. So this is going to come down to whether or not the Greninja has Cyrus. Suicune hasn't been on the board this entire game.
Wait, I don't understand. How do we lose to Cyrus?
Because he's just gonna
How do we
ping.
lose to Cyrus?
He's just gonna. Oh,
Oh, right.
oh no, no, he's only taking one prize. You're
It
right.
only takes 1 point. Now this is critical
You're
here.
right.
If you're a super piece, do not evolve the Charmander in the back to the Charizard because that loses you the game. But if he does, but if you keep
No,
it as a
he's got
Charmander,
it.
you have to take on the
Got
Charizard
it.
head on.
I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong on the prize math. You're good.
Right?
You're golden.
Right? So now Lights
Oh,
is going to go ahead and attack for 80,
he
but
does
that
it.
is it. It's game over.
He does
There
it.
will be no Suicunes in the grand final. Charizard
Wow.
is going to steam artillery the Greninja. We are going to have some cooked rocks tonight.
Wow.
Super Piece is going into the grand finals.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's gonna be, and in a world where we're expecting Suicune Greninja dominance, the grand final is Charizard versus Tapu Koko Oricorio. Wow!
Oh, absolutely incredible turn of events there. Charizard does it this time. In the grand finals, we saw a couple of weeks ago Charizard losing that Suicune matchup. That first game was very unfortunate. He ends up pulling out the win here. Absolutely incredible. No Suicune in the finals. We do have Tapu Koko Oricorio. We do have Charizard, two of the most significant Suicune counter meta decks in the game right now, facing up against each other. But one thing I will say, Mid-Tom, is that Charizard does not love Oricorio. So that is going to be very, very valuable. We've seen Sharias plays absolutely dominating the draws, getting every card he could possibly imagine. This is going to be very, very, very important. Now, one thing to know though about this matchup is that Charmeleon, it does exist, right? So Charmeleon can be here to KO an Oricorio or do some valuable damage, right? So this game can go either way. I've seen Charizards beat Oricorios before. Of course, there's no guarantee that Oricorios really even come down. So there's a lot of stuff here yet to be determined. I am super excited for this matchup. Either way, Suicune will not be taking the championship of the final championship. So I'm really excited about that.
And I think the inclusion of Charmeleon is going to be very, very potent in this particular matchup because given what's available in Super Piece's deck, that Sharias is going to double Oricorio the Charizards to do virtually no damage. Protecting the Charmeleon is going to be very, very important in securing the matchup because you're going to have to take out one Oricorio minimum in order to secure the win. Yes, you can repel the other one later to target the Tapu Koko, but you got to take out one of the chickens first. And so we are going to see how they're going to go ahead and execute. Looks like Super Piece does not want to be the one that's being POV'd here. So I think we're going to be looking at Sharias for the grand final. Nats, you want to do a final shout out to Box.gg, the sponsor of our tournament?
Yeah, dude. Shout out to Box.gg. Absolutely incredible sponsor today, sponsoring the prize pool. Absolutely incredible. We can open, a couple more, like packs here on the stream. We'll go ahead. We'll shout them out real quick. Shout out to Box.gg. Just an incredible place to open packs, to get real life Pokemon cards. And just a whole lot of fun. Them supporting the tournament, supporting the entire Pokemon Pocket competitive scene. Absolutely incredible. Let's open up one final Mega Evolution box right here. This is the grand finals. I'm expecting a big hit here. Something here out of these super rares. Mega Lucario, golden card. That's what I'm hoping for right now, man, Tom. Let's pop this off right now. Shout out to Box.gg. Let's do it. Oh, hold on. We might have to refresh the page. Give me a moment. We're back in. Wow. Okay. Let's do it. What do we get? Finish off the stream. Something big. It is another Schmeckle. Listen, I love Schmeckle, so I can't have enough of them. In fact, actually, I can sell the Schmeckle. We're gonna open one more. We're gonna keep riding here, leading up to the grand finals. Coming at you in just a little bit. Here is a Spiritomb. Shout out to Spiritomb. Great, really cool card. I am gonna sell it. We're rolling here. We're rolling until we're all out of gems. Let's see what we get here in this final pack. It is going to be a Delibird. Okay. All right. Listen, shout out to Box.gg. Go check them out. Affiliate code PocketMads. You get some free gems or whatnot. You get some discounts. Definitely go and support them. It's a whole lot of fun. I would recommend it. Collect a bunch of really cool cards. They supporting us. Let's go support them. I definitely appreciate all you guys. Shout out to Box.gg. I'm ready. I am so ready for the grand finals. Ready. I am so excited.
My body is ready, man. Let's go ahead and jump into Sharias' point of view, shall we?
Let's do it. Let's hop on over. Welcome, Mid-Tom, to the grand finals. Let's go. Let me pull it up here on stream so you guys can see what we're seeing, and I'll let the players know that they are ready to play, guys. This is the grand finals, the last grand finals before Pokemon Pocket changes forever. The first year of Pokemon Pocket, it all comes down to this. Charizard versus Tapu Koko Oricorio. A match made in heaven. Two of the most iconic cards in the entire game. Stoke Charizard, Oricorio. Absolutely incredible. Let's see how this goes here. Both players had just an absolutely incredible run. Nothing else that I can really say about it. I'm gonna go ahead and tell them to play.
I've double checked on both their records. Both of them have one top cut in our Pocket Match series. Sharias has been very, very variable in terms of their deck choices so far. So and the Tapu Koko Oricorio is just another one of those things. Meanwhile, Super Peace is in the Pocket Match tournament for the first time, not running his beloved Dragonite deck.
I know.
All of his entries before this weekend have been Dragonites. So the switching to the Charizard coming in clutch here because it's earned Super Peace a entry into the grand finals here, and Super Peace really coming out looking like our hero, looking like our Cody Rhodes, dare I say. Taking it to the house against the Suicunes with Charizard. I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull up. Oh well, I don't need to pull up anything. This is it. This is it, Mads. It's Super Peace. It's Sharias Plays. It is Grand Finals of Pocket Match 5. It is Lightning versus Fire. Here we go.
Here we go, Binka. My cat is yelling. I gotta go let him into my room so he doesn't keep yelling. Give me one second.
Okay, so I'll call the action. So now we are going to be looking at this from Sharia's point of view. We are on a 15-minute delay. That's how we can show hearts up footage for you guys. It also gives you the ability to look into the mind of a player as it feels like you are the player as you are playing this. So feel free to practice your problem solving skills as we go through it. It is Oricorio. It is Charmander to start off, and it's not Super. Sharias is going first, but is going to pass the turn immediately.
Yes, but he leads the Oricorio, and that's important. But he does take the 30 damage here, right? So theoretically speaking, the Charmander can kind of deal with this Oricorio going first, right? So that's an important note. He can attach here, but he can't one-hit KO the Charmander, right? So this Charmander can actually put in a little bit of work. We don't see a Giant Cape. We don't see a PCL from Sharias here, right? So he's going to have to just pass. He might be taking 30 more damage from this Charmander here. And the second Charmander comes down. Are we potentially going to see a Charmeleon? That could be a really interesting play here. Nah, we're just going to slap with Ember here, getting absolutely steamrolled by the solo Charmander.
Well, remember, we can't just do Charmander and then go into Charmeleon because this Charmander is the genetic Apex Charmander. Ember forces Charmander to discard a fire energy.
Wow.
So
and we see
he's
the
gonna
PCL
have to
top
stick
deck.
to the Charmander.
He top decks the Pokemon
so
Center
now,
lady. Absolutely insane. Still can't attack though because he's not gonna retreat. Or he's not going to attack here. So he actually retreats, goes into Tapu Koko. This is a very interesting play. A play that I actually quite like. But what this does open up, though, is the potential for, Peace to actually just rare candy that active Charmander into Charizard and then just stoke in his face, right? So this is a very valuable...
But the thing is, once Charmander evolves to Charmeleon, you know what I would do if I was Sharias in this spot? Just put the damn Oricorio back into the front, because hello, what just happened? A Sabrina to bring the Oricorio back, and Oricorio back. Charmander's just going to just punt the chicken. Oh, wow. We are going to have some well done chicken tonight if this keeps up.
And we don't see a second Oricorio. Now, what is it? Super Peace doesn't play two Sabrina in the deck, but he does play one Repel, one Sabrina. So effectively, two of the same cards in the same deck here. Now, this Tapu Koko not going to be able to KO this Charmander, which is really funny, which is why he stayed in and did the damage. And now we have an Oricorio down there with 10 HP. There is a second PCL in Sharia's deck list, but, an interesting scenario to be in here. Whether we rare candy Greninja, whether we go into Cleffa and potentially... just sort of use Clef's attack to find Charizard. The thing is, when we have double Charmander, it's totally okay to evolve one of them into Charizard, right? Because one of them can be a Charmeleon at any point. One of them can just stay Charmander at this point as well. And we are just going to rare candy off the rip. He has it in his hand. Really interesting to watch this from not the Charizard's perspective, because we don't know what's in his hand here. Could we also see the Lily? Not that it matters, but are we going to see the Lily this turn as well? We do see the
Yes,
Lily.
we
So this
are.
Charizard, he's going to stoke right into the face of this Tapu Koko, forcing him to retreat out, which is very, it's very important information here, because if he does retreat into Oricorio, then the Charizard player can actually just retreat into his Charmander and take the KO, right? Which is going to get rid of one Oricorio, and then of course that leaves him with one Repel left in the deck. But the Sabrina is going to come out and he's going to get forced into the Cleffa. This is a very valuable play here. Not that it really matters, but he actually is going to. Oh, he's going to KO the Cleffa. Wow, interesting play here.
But it's not a KO though, because he chose to Plasma Hurricane instead of
Interesting
Mock Bolting.
play.
He's actually going to try to keep the Charizard. He's going to try to keep the Cleffa alive. Now the Charizard's going to come in and KO
And Giant Cape as
the
well. One
Tapu
Lily left in the deck.
Koko, and with the Giant Cape. So
Wow.
now,
Wow.
ooh,
I don't know if I
well,
like this, right? Because now you lose to like a single Repel play at some point. I guess your only
I
hope
did.
here is to find a second or a
No,
Choreo.
no,
Um,
I think that's the plan for that Sharias is going with
wow.
here. Try to draw into the second Oricorio to provide a lockdown situation and probably target the Charmander in the back here, because of the fact that if Charmander has to evolve to a Charmeleon,
Oh,
that's the
there it
only
is.
way that they can do it. There's the Pokeball, so that
Wow.
Pokeball's gonna go ahead and guarantee
All
the
right.
Oricorio here.
We're playing for the long game
So
here.
now
This is now gonna be
we
good.
are playing for the long game here.
This is
And so
crazy.
we're going to go ahead and see the Oricorio. Now we're going to go ahead and retreat to the other Oricorio and put the lighting energy onto the Oricorio here. I appreciate that one of them is a full art and one of them isn't, so I can tell which one is which. We are going to go ahead and giant keep the full art one in the back. And I would anticipate a turn is going to be passed here. Yes, it is.
Wow. So this Charizard can take some damage, right? Now, if the Charmeleon comes out, that's really important pressure. But with Pokemon Center Lady, Charmeleon is not 2 at KOing Oricorio. So, that is also very valuable information. In fact, is Charizard's not even playing a Cyrus. So I think what we have to do here is still potentially just wait. This Mars to 1 could be really, really big. I think if you're the Charizard player, you're kind of waiting for that other gust, right? Because what you do is you force your opponent maybe into a lower, HP or a Choreo. And then, this could go either way here. I think at this point, it really depends on whether or not we see the other Gust card from Peace, whether we see the Charmeleon or not. You're never really safe to go into Cleffa. It's a little bit sketchy here. And he does have the Repel. That is
Ooh,
game.
we
That
got the
is game.
repel. We got
That
a
is game.
repel.
That is game.
Uh,
That is game
are
because he
you
didn't
sure
PCL.
about
Yeah,
that?
because he didn't PCL the turn prior. So he's got 30 HP on the Oricorio. He can retreat into Charmander and take the KO. So he just happens to get Mars to 1 and top deck the Repel. He has it this turn because he couldn't play PCL last turn. Sharias didn't have it. He played Research last turn and drew into the Pokemon Center Lady. So
Wow, I didn't even consider the baby.
yeah.
The baby Charmander actually coming in for the KO, and Super Piece is gonna go up 1-0. Baby Charmander does work.
I'm telling you, it's winnable. The Charmander and Charmeleon, the matchup is totally winnable for Charizard. What we saw there was not early enough. You're going first, you're leading Oricorio. It's really not that good of a scenario, quite frankly. You would rather go first or second and lead Tapu Koko, or go second even and lead Oricorio, because that way you could put some more pressure on. But it's just, it really is a more volatile matchup than you might think. Now, I still don't, I wouldn't say it's favored for Charizard, but it's a lot more winnable than people give it credit for. The Charmander, the Charmeleon, it's a lot of damage relatively for that little Oricorio. Just absolutely incredible Charizard. Super Piece taking game 1 here in Grand Finals. He goes up 1-0. Man, oh man, could you imagine if Charizard just ends up beating Suicune Greninja and Oricorio back to back?
I will say this: I had 15 decks built in my Pocket account, and Charizard Cleffa is not one of
Wow.
them. I'm gonna have to really, really consider it now. As we go into game 2, it is Super Piece. It is Sharia. Sharia needs 2 wins now in order to take the title. Otherwise, the title is gonna go to Super Piece and Charizard. Here we go. And we are going to have a different start this time. It is Cleffa Charmander versus Tapu Koko Oricorio.
He's going first,
all
though.
Pokemon are pretty much accounted for. except for copies, of course. Giant Cape
Double
now,
PCL in hand
going
is
down to
mean.
the Oricorio.
The double PCL in hand, Giant Cape Oricorio is very mean. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of exactly what you want right now. We're gonna research here potentially for a second Oricorio. No, but a second Giant Cape could be useful. He will be Rocky helmeting that active for sure. Yeah, man, this game could go either way. I think that this is the double PCL in hand definitely screams to me this is going to go a little bit longer than the last game. So you're going to have to sit back and enjoy. The Pokeball comes out here. He's going to thin nothing out of his deck. In fact, his entire hand is basic Pokemon. Or I guess he only has 3 in the deck, but yeah.
No, yeah, he's already got it. So,
but he's safe because like nothing
can.
can KO him this turn, so he's going to get a couple Clefas off, right? And that's pretty important when you really think about it. This Plasma Hurricane will be coming down here, but if he does have Rare Candy, if he does have Charizard, he can come in, stoke in his face. If not, he can kind of Cleffa again, thin some more cards out of the deck. It's really not that bad of a situation for Peace. We haven't seen a research yet. We are going to see the Rare Candy Charizard commitment. He has it yet again. Now he can come in and stoke pretty comfortably. If he has Lily, it's extremely comfortable. But if not, he actually does a really smart play. He evolves the Charizard with no energies. Not that it really matters, but he's going to evolve that Charmeleon
Here
there.
comes the Charmeleon. So therefore, the condition to take out the chicken in the back is all set and ready to go. He is going to go ahead and bring up the Charizard and stoke. I would anticipate that we will not see the other Charizard in the game right now.
You have to retreat. You have to retreat, which is really awkward, right? Oh, the research here could be really valuable if we find a second Oricorio, but you have to retreat into this Oricorio, which means you're not putting any damage on the board this turn, which is definitely unfortunate. The second Oricorio does come down, as well as the other Pokeball. So double Oricorio, double Giant Cape, double Pokemon Center Lady in the hand here for Sharia. He's got everything he could possibly need here, but unfortunately, that Charmeleon is still a little bit of a threat. But again, what we've seen here is that with double Oricorio now, with double PCL, and no hand disruption for Peace, this Charmeleon can't actually 2-hit KO this Oricorio. So I would say right now that you're effectively guaranteed to, kind of carry into this game pretty consistently, because you two KO the Charmeleon. Technically, I think actually Super does play 1 potion in the deck, so 1 potion could be pretty valuable. You might wait for that potion before you go into Charmeleon. That might be a safe play, just so that you can at least take 1 KO. Because if you go into Charmeleon here and you attack without access to potion, you get 2-hit KO'd and then you lose the game. So that could be a very crucial play here for Peace. Let's see if he recognizes that line. It's going to be really, really tough. And he stays in.
I would stoke too, because if I retreat Charizard now into Charmeleon and attack, I'd have to, in late game after Charmeleon dies, I would have to stoke again. So I do like this play from Super Peace. Sharias won't mind it though. He's gonna go ahead and zap the Charizard for 50 more. 50
Another
damage.
Research, back-to-back researches. He's moving through his deck, Tom.
So now he's gonna go ahead and try to filter through his deck to plan for the future. Now the Charmeleon is gonna come up, so we are going to see that chicken get burnt. Overcook it with combustion for 40 points of damage, and now the pressure's on.
So what we're going to see here is, the Giant Cape actually matters, but he's going to PCL back up to basically full HP. So if he doesn't have a potion, he gets 2-hit KO'd. But what we can do here, though, he's going to concede because he knows that Tapu Koko, he probably didn't have potion, but either way, Tapu Koko can come in and 1-hit KO the Charmeleon, right? So no Giant Cape there. And no potion means that you're getting 2-hit KO'd and you just don't have an option to win. So Sharias had every single card that he needed to there. It looked like Super Peace really did bank on, listen, like I can't stand a Charizard for too long because then the Tapu Koko gets set up. If I go into Charmander here and I don't have potion, if I don't have Giant Cape and he has PCL, I just don't win the game. So I think he made that decision, which was the correct decision either way. You can't wait too long because then Koko gets set up and it will KO the Charmeleon. So you do have a Giant Cape in the deck, you do have a potion, and those are very, very valuable cards for that one particular interaction into Oricorio. But that game, like we saw, Sharia, double Oricorio, double Giant Cape, double PCL, it's going to be really difficult to get around that, right, for sure, Mid-Tom. So we'll see how the game 3 goes.
Now we are going down to game 3.
That's right.
This is it. Final round. 1 game to play. Winner is champion of Pocket Mats 5. It is Sharia. It is Super Peace. It is Tapu Koko versus Charizard. Here we go. Game 3 is on, and it's going to be Super Peace going first.
Yeah, and Super Peace going first. We do see the Tapu Koko lead, which again, I would say is valuable. Not only do we have X speed in hand, but we have the benefit of going second, so we can put some valuable pressure on. The Cleffa does lead here. So again, this match can go either way, but I would say that going second is definitely going to be really advantageous from a pacing perspective for Sharias. So we'll see how this goes. Charizard did end up getting one game on Oricorio, which is pretty cool for sure. We're going to lead off with a research, and then we're going to end our turn on a Twinkly Call, but we do have the Mars in hand. Sharia has the Mars in hand. That's going to be really, really valuable. That's going to set back this Charizard for sure. That turn one research is going to feel really bad with that 6-card hand getting absolutely obliterated here. And in fact, what we can just do is just that and be very confident in everything. Not only we're getting the chip damage off here, but we're resetting the hand here, kind of forcing something the second turn after the Mars. So I actually really like the position here that Mars is going to be incredibly valuable. Cleffa, of course, being a baby Pokemon mid-tom, it's valuable because you can use the attack going first, but if you research in the Cleffa on your first turn and you get Marsed, it was all for naught, quite frankly.
So now we're gonna see the Pokemon communication
Wow.
come in. That kind of tells me that there's a rare candy in his hand. Um, but are we going to see that? No,
No.
he's gonna it's
Wow.
gonna end up being a Charmeleon instead. But I think he'd be okay with that because we're gonna go ahead and quickly call to. We know that's gonna have to be a Charizard now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely.
So now,
But we're gonna KO.
now,
We KO with
yeah.
Sabrina.
Yes, we do, and that's pretty much going to do it. This
Wow.
game 3 just ended so quickly,
Oh, Sharia,
and
man, he
as a
had everything in
result,
this game. Oh, he concedes immediately. He doesn't have. Yeah, that's
yeah, yeah.
crazy. Wow. The quickest
So
game
that
three
game
of all
3,
time, mid Tom. The
that
quickest game
grand, the
three
grand
of all
finals,
time.
the
Wow.
last grand final game ended in the largest whimper ever, which is
Oh,
kind of unfortunate. But just like that, Sharias plays is your Pocket Mats
oh
5
man.
champion.
Wow, man.
India represents.
Yo, dude, shout out to Super
Woo!
Peace. Listen, he got that first game off. He played really well. Sharias, bro, the plot armor all day. We watched so many matches from Sharias. Just had incredible draws the entire
Yep.
game. Just had incredible pacing. Had every card he kind of seemingly needed for most of these games. And that's kind of how his deck goes, right? Tapu Koko or Corio, very flexible. It's basically a two-phase deck. You can be really strong in one way, really strong in another. It just depends on whether or not, you're drawing those particular cards. And in today's matchups, it looks like he kind of did, So Tapu Koko or Corio ends up winning the last Pocket Mads tournament, the last official real big tournament of the A1 era or the A series era. Man, absolutely incredible there. It's tough to see that last couple of games end
You
so
know,
quickly, but that's just the
you know
reality,
what's
right? Of
you know
of the matchup.
you, You know what's funny? When I look at the Sharia's play Super Peace match, I see a tale of two stories. Tapu Koko Oricorio kind of feels to me like it feels like a complete deck that you don't necessarily have to change anything. Um,
Right.
Given the cards that we know for B1, you could just go with Sharia's plays deck and you will do fine for the first week, at least until we know what's going on. Meanwhile, that Charizard deck, I'm looking at that deck. You know what I'm thinking, Mats? Cleffa is gonna go away, and in steps May.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
that's the feeling that I'm going to that's the feeling that I'm going to end up feeling because if you start off with a Charmander and Charmeleon and you need Charizard right away, you know what? May guarantees that Charizard.
Right.
So we are also Super Peace is coming in with an idea that a Charizard deck that feels a bit incomplete to survive in the A4B meta. Can still have the potential to win had everything gone Super Pieces way, but that deck is only going to get stronger, and that's just knowing that may exist. We don't know what craziness is hiding in the new B1 set
Oh, it's
with the
gonna be a
Mega
lot.
Evolutions. So
It's gonna be a lot.
it's gonna be insane.
Yeah. And even though
Come
Charizard
this week.
even though theoretically, like that Charizard build, that construction is getting buffed with May, Charizard might just be replaced by other new Mega Pokemon with higher HP, right? Because in that deck list,
Correct.
effectively playing a two-prize Pokemon is kind of the same as playing a three-prize Pokemon, right? When you're pairing it with babies. So we might see a very similar
Right.
deck to Charizard upgraded with May, but even upgraded maybe further by replacing Charizard with something like a Blaziken or, just other Pokemon
Yes.
maybe. So it's going to be
And
really, really
flame patch
interesting,
too.
man. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Flame Patch too. Oh,
There's just so many like this ends up being the blueprint that people are going to be
yes.
building their megas around. If you're gonna rely on a stage two anything, right? But especially the stage two mega Pokemon, this is gonna be the first of your first draft, and then you can edit it to create a crazy construction that we are definitely going to see. Mats, you're the TO. Are we playing next Saturday?
Oh yeah, yeah. Next Saturday will be the first Pocket Mats tournament, the first major tournament of the new era of Pokemon Pocket. I'm extremely excited about it. What I'm also excited about this, Mid-Tom, is all next week covering this on the YouTube channel. So, if you're looking to know what the best decks are going into the new metagame, go check out the YouTube channel. Check out the videos in the upcoming days. We're going to be building some perspective deck lists for the new megas. But again, we'll be live opening the packs, building decks, showcasing the metagame, showcasing all of the new strategies on the YouTube channel. That's what we do best. I'm super excited about it. All the while, Box.gg will be here for us sponsoring next week's tournament. And you can guarantee we'll have $250 on the prize pool next week as well. I'm extraordinarily excited for the next week and upcoming weeks for Pokemon Pocket. I think it's going to be the most exciting that Pokemon Pocket has been in months, Mid-Tom, and I'm extremely excited. I believe Taj will be here for next week as well, so hopefully we get both days of the tournament streamed and casted. It's going to be extraordinarily exciting. So I want to give a big shout out to all of the players here for competing. Even though we're like 8 weeks into this metagame, we've still had over 300 players competing week after week after week. I want to give a big thanks to all of the judges, to all of the moderators that make the tournament happen. Of course, all of the players for playing, and then of course you as well, Mid-Tom, for helping me cast out. It's a big team effort, right? From the sponsors at Box.gg, from myself to the players to the moderators to the judges. It's a massive undertaking to make these events happen on a week-by-week basis, and the absolute team that we have, built right now is just incredible. So again, I just want to give a massive thanks to everybody. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to stay tuned for the YouTube videos coming and the live streams coming as well. It's just a great time, I think, to be playing Pokemon Pocket. There's a lot around the corner, and I'm going to be, I'm just so excited for it. I really am. There's nothing else I can really say. Big congrats to Sharias Plays for winning this weekend. And congrats to Super Piece, right, for bringing Charizard back to the grand finals, the second Pocket Mats tournament for Charizard to hit the grand finals there. But it was Tapu Koko or Corio that got the W. Absolutely insane.
Well, players, you guys have 1 week. Well, effectively 5 days to figure out the new decks for B1 because Saturday we're gonna be back here at noon doing it all over again. The chicken is the one that stands strong. The chicken defeats the lizard. How about that?
It's fitting, yeah.
But
the last tournament won by Oricorio himself. Who would have thought, Mid-Top? You know what I mean? The king reigns supreme.
Of course.
The final champion.
The chicken reigns supreme.
The final champion.
Yes.
Oricorio.
Absolutely, but I think this is a good place to go ahead and sign off. Sign off. Of course, Mads, you are the legend. Bringing this tournament to life, man. I can't wait to see what happens next week. We're gonna go ahead and call it here. I think we've had an amazing battle that we've seen. We've had amazing battles that we've seen, and we're gonna go ahead and call it a rest. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time for Pocket Mats 6, aka the new beginning, the new era of Pokemon. The megas are coming. But until then, my name's been Tom, filling in for Taj. This is Pocket Mats. Our GOAT, our hero. We'll see you guys next time. Do not forget to pull a full art card on your way out, guys.
That's right. Yeah, go check out Box.gg. Use the affiliate code Pocket Mats. Go check them out. Go support them. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the YouTube channel for Meta Monday covering the last tournament. But of course, stay tuned. A lot of stuff coming out all week. I'm super excited, guys. Let's end the stream. Let's get out of here. Thanks, everybody.